Rocky, go.
Fifers arriving. Hey, welcome to the Fifers. I'm Rocky, the chief of tacos already. That's Gilly and Chris. And also, Little Tate is not here, also known as Chief Smith, the honorary chief, who's a real chief, is doing some work right now. And we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want. And who wants to go first?
Since you call Little Tate honorary, he gonna get you on that one.
He's a real chief. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just playing.
He's gonna watch that motherfucker. I'm gonna fucking chew his ass out.
No, he's a real chief, just like I am, dude.
He might watch. You'll be okay.
All right, the pregame, Chris. He was talking about how you like being tall versus short, right?
Yeah. So there was some big difference between your butt and my butt. So before we come on, we're talking about there was that I-beam in between the two main engines. And when you went around and you got on the one engine and I went to go jump to the other engine because there was that gap in between the modules.
Yep.
And I had my hat on, pulled down, kind of low in the front. And I was not even paying attention. And I jumped. And I mean, the gap was only like 18 inches or so.
Not very far. Less than 2
foot. But I always jumped anyway. I don't know why. I probably could just stepped right across.
I had jumped. You just stepped.
Yeah, I just did like kind of a leaping step. I hit that thing so hard right in that I-beam, had a big old knot on my head. I think that's what crunched my neck. But, oh my gosh, I about passed out. I just laid down. And I was like, oh, this feels good just to lay down. They probably almost knocked me out. Or it did knock me out for a little bit.
I never had that problem. The only time I had my problem hitting anything on the engine room is down lower level, right? Especially when you get in the build, right? That's the only time I had a problem hitting my head.
Oh yeah. Anytime you got off the walkway.
Oh yeah. Just like
it really didn't matter when you were in the build shoot. You could be the fucking size of a fucking hobbit and still hit your head.
Oh yeah.
But like running the general quarters, right? Y'all remember fucking S.H. Jones, right? Corey?
Yep.
I remember one time fucking Joe Corey, he was running, he hit his head on top of the fucking door. On the frame.
I've done that like general quarters, and you'll be like somewhere else on the ship and you got to beat feet to the engine room and you don't think about it and you kind of pre-jump through the doorway and you hit that knife edge, just bam.
Dude, Corey used to fucking crack me up. He was like the biggest fucking smartass. Especially when he was messing with fucking Chief or Senior Chief Esbiet, the MSC.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I cranked with Corey. Dude, that guy fucking cracked me up. Oh, my God.
Before I left the Fife, my boot camp RDC came on board, and I can't remember his name. He was a chief. Oh, shoot. And I don't know what he was in charge of when he came on board. Because I wasn't there much longer. But I thought that was cool as hell that my boot camp RDC came to my boat after his boot camp tour. He remembered me too. Because I was in the Jane Fonda workout group.
Oh my God, Jane Fonda.
The Fat Boy group.
Yep. Well, because when I joined, I was 320.
Yep.
And 319, 320 right in there. And then they had to do the different body fat, whatever, so I could get in. I think it was like 18 or 19%
for bales.
But I was over the weight, but I met the body fat requirement.
Did you see that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hesketh, said they're going to make the physical
standards
or whatever PC more gender fucking neutral finally?
What?
Yeah, exactly what I would have fucking done.
Yep.
Like, look, if you fucking do this shit, that you got to do it to the level that everyone else does.
That should have been the standard when we was in.
Too. Exactly, it should have been.
Because
Well,
They
yeah,
should not
because
have got women should not have got more time on the run. Do push-ups a different fucking way, sit-ups. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah,
If they're
they
supposed to do the
didn't
same
have
job as us,
they
huh?
didn't have regular push-ups. They did the
No,
ones on the knees.
You
yeah,
know what, you know what, you know why that happened though. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but it happened because of fucking LA Fire to fucking department. If this guy weighs 150 pounds and I can't lift him up, he's in the fucking wrong place. Remember that fucking bullshit?
Yeah.
That's why. Like
Well,
seriously.
even me when I came in, like I was 320,
yep,
but it told me with my height and weight that I was supposed to be 209.
yep,
So that's 111
yeah,
pounds more
yeah.
than what it says I was supposed to weigh.
See, I was the same fucking way too, man. Same fucking way. So I was what? I was five foot
You were
six.
shorter, but you were stocky.
I was
So,
5'6", 170 pounds, right? I mean, I
right.
was not fat at all. I mean, I was
No,
like probably 10%, 11% body fat. That
not
was
at
it.
all. You were like skinny waist, but you
Just
had muscular legs. You
yeah.
were real stout.
But I
Big
had to get taped out like a meth right? They're like, you're a weight. I was like, no, I'm not, motherfucker. So they taped me out every time.
Yeah, they
That's the
did
way
me
it
too.
was. And that's the way I was the whole time I was in the Navy.
Yeah, they did me too. I've lost
Right.
a whole lot of muscles since then, though. That's for sure.
I know I have too, because 3 years ago, I got real sick. I went from around 215 pounds down to 162 within a month. Doctors couldn't figure out
Yeah,
why, right? They couldn't figure I had a fever and everything. They couldn't figure out what it was. Everything came back negative, right? I mean, I just couldn't eat. And I lost so much weight, I'm muscle wise. Dude, I got flab on my arms now. I never had. Good shit. But no, I got a throwback picture. Rahava sent this to me years ago, right? We get to it.
Have you guys gotten a hold of Grijalva yet?
I've talked to him a couple times, but it's been
Every
a
now and
while.
then, every now and then you'll get a hold of my messenger, but
He's
not very
active on
often.
he's active on Facebook quite a bit with
Yep.
his family stuff. He does a lot of family photos and
Yep. Actually, Sprecher sent this to me. This was 2000 deployment right there.
oh yeah.
And you see, how the 5 arms was, and they're like, you're overweight. I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't overweight, so bitches. You
No.
know,
They fucking like. I remember I talked to people about that because PRTs are like the most stressful time of the year. You get it twice a year, right?
Right.
Especially after 2005. 2005 was like the epitome of the year where you had those guys like they made a meme about it. I didn't know it was a meme at the time. It said Army Strong, and there was this guy like 400 pounds. I'm sure you've seen it.
I
The
don't
guy
know if
was in the
I've
Middle
seen
East. And what
was it
they
bodybuilder kind of look?
no, dude, the guy was just fucking fat as shit.
Oh.
He was fat.
kind of
Like
like that RM we had, or OS. Remember him on the five? He was
Oh
big. He was
yeah,
bigger
that's
than
right.
Boswell. He couldn't even fit down the hatch with a fucking OBA
dude,
on.
dude, we had a
God.
D. Remember, I when I went to our division, we had a DC-1 that couldn't even fit down the fucking hatch.
Yeah. And then we had that supply guy, what's his name? He got pretty big there for a while. What was his name? He used to play cards all the time in the lunchroom.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, but
Uh,
I mean, but the weight standard, the weight and height standards were not to reality.
No, it
no.
wasn't.
Like Chris, you're a fucking big dude, right? You're what, six foot
Yeah.
three, 6'4"?
And yeah, and I had, I always thought my stomach was big, but now since I've gotten older and lost weight, actual,
Yeah.
a little bit of cushion, I did have some cushion, but my stomach muscles start right here at my freaking ribs, man.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
And
thinking
it's like,
cushion for the pushing, dude.
it's
I'm
right
sorry, I'm
here is
thinking
freaking
cushion for the
hard.
pushing.
Yep. I got another throwback one. See, remember what cruise this one? If y'all remember this cruise right here, I know you all will. What the fuck happened?
Hey, the CIA's interfering. That's what it is, sailor.
What the fuck?
See,
Fucking closed everything.
You guys came on about the same time. What year did you guys come on the Fife?
October '97. We was
97. Okay.
we was
Bumper's coming on,
actually
guys.
And
Yay!
it was
in
actually the same
96.
fucking a week apart. Me and Rocky was a week apart.
Yeah,
And Winston,
it's pretty close.
and Winston came on the same time too. Remember
Right.
DC or FA and Winston at the time went RN that went DC eventually.
I miss Winston, man. He's one of my favorite dudes in the whole
All
world.
right.
Didn't
Hodges
Winston
ain't
go to
Hodges ain't gonna
Maine
get this
for a
one.
while?
Hodges never seen this picture. Rocky, nope, this is for y'all. See what remember what cruise this is from right here.
All right,
Okay.
let's check it out. Let's check it out.
Oh, good Lord.
That's got to be the 2000 cruise
Yeah, that was
or 98.
Ding, ding, ding. What day?
98.
Halloween. It had to be Halloween.
Ding, ding, ding.
Was that in the
Fucking
cruise
Bam Bam.
book?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the cruise book. I remember that.
Old
I've
Potter
seen that
fucking
picture.
Old Potter fucking sent that to me years ago.
Do you still talk to Potter?
No.
Is he around still, or did something happen to him?
Oh, he's probably back out in fucking Oregon somewhere.
Because I had a guy that I worked with. His name was Ma1 Delamba, and he worked with me in Bahrain, and he just recently passed away. And what's crazy is, like we have a page called NSF Goat Locker, right? Naval Security Forces Goat Locker, and they talked about him. He said he wasn't a brother like a chief, but he was still a good dude, and he passed away just recently.
Yep.
It breaks my heart. He was a good dude, man. He was a good dude.
Oh, so we were talking about earlier before when I first got on board, my first day on the Fife. So I'm out of A school and I get my orders and I picked Japan because it was the farthest out. I think I was like the second person in my class, so I got to pick second. So I picked, and I wanted to go the farthest I could from freaking West Virginia, and Japan sounded really good to me. So I picked Japan, and it ended up being on the Fife. So then I get on the flight, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was on the boat too for quite a while. I think it was a CT. But anyway, since it was an international flight, we got free drinks, like whatever beer you wanted the whole time. It was like a 17-hour nonstop flight from Chicago to Narita.
Yep.
So I kept getting Mickey's. So she kept bringing him back, and he was sitting beside me, and he was wearing his uniform. And in our orders, it said not to wear your uniform. It said to wear civilian clothes.
Yep.
So
Flight
I'm like,
overseas.
dude, you need to go change your shit. So he went and changed his shit finally. And we started drinking, just one after another. Well, the lady got tired of bringing them to us. So she would bring them to us a 6-pack at a time and told us to stick it under our seat, and just pull them out and drink them. And then raise your hand when you're ready for another 6-pack. But anyway,
Rocky, you're muted.
I know. I was going to say that is so cool that she would do that for you back then.
She did. It was pretty awesome. It was, she didn't want to be coming back every 2 seconds, and we understood it. And it made
I would say to that woman now, thank you. You're an awesome lady for doing that.
Oh yeah,
but they did that They did that a lot for fucking service people flying to Japan.
Dude, I remember when I flew to Narita.
You could smoke.
On the plane back then.
International flight, you could
Yeah.
smoke. It was free drink.
Yeah.
Like when I got to Narita, dude, I had a Magnum PI shirt. Remember Magnum PI, the original one with fucking Tom Selleck? I had the Magnum PI shirt, and I think I was wearing like Jankos and my Air Jordans. I bought a pair of fucking Air Jordans from that year from the fucking Navy Exchange. And I had a bunch of Marines on there, and they're all wearing their fucking green ones. I forgot. The olive green, I think they're Class Alphas. I don't remember.
Class A's, I think.
Class A's.
Yeah.
They look sharp, but I was like, why are they wearing that shit?
We was told not to wear our shit.
Fucking Target.
It's in your orders not to wear it. So, and I showed him, I was like, hey, dude, let me see your orders. And he showed me his orders. I said, see right here, it says wear civilian clothes, no military at all. So we get to Narita, we get the little bus, we get over and find the boat. It is like 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yep.
Show up on board, all the fucking lights are out, everybody's on board. It's your first time ever on a ship.
Yep.
They go give me a rack. They go crawl in it, and I said, well, what time do we need to be up? And he said, don't worry about it. Somebody will come and get you, right? I was tired as shit. I just took a 17-hour freaking flight, never slept an ounce,
Yep.
laid down in that rack. And I woke up the next morning, and I'm like, this is kind of cool because the boat's rocking. And I could hear when I got on board, they already had the generators running. So
Yep.
I don't think they were even on shore power. I think they were already disconnected
Yep.
and they were ready to go underway in the morning. So I wake up, the boat's rocking. I'm like, this is kind of cool. There is nobody in the freaking berthing. I think there was somebody in there cleaning or something. And like, okay, well, now let me find my way out of here. So I get my shit on and I go walk up and I go outside and I go on the fantail and I'm like, there's no land. It was the first time seeing the wake behind the boat. And,
Yep.
I was like, holy shit. They're like, yeah, we're underway for like 3 weeks or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay.
What year was that?
96. Yeah, I think it was like December of 96, maybe before then. I'll have to go look it up. Because I joined in 90, late 90, or no. Yeah, it was 96. Yeah, because by the time I went to boot camp and
Yep.
A school, it was already 96.
Do you guys remember in 1997 when they put the original Star Wars trilogy out on the theaters in 1997?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I remember watching that shit before I joined the Navy. Before I
Yeah,
went in the Navy, I watched all three movies in the
they
theater like
first
that.
put it all on VHS in the pack.
Yeah. See, when I got to pick orders to Japan, right? Well, I didn't know where I was going. Do you know the dream sheet? You used to talk about that, Chris. I picked West Coast and overseas, right? That's where I
Right.
wanted to be. I was like, I wanted to get the fuck up, furthest way I could from Missouri.
Yeah. Because,
If
the
I,
small town thing, you want to go
yeah,
big. Like,
yeah. I mean, how big was your town? Mine was 170 people. How big was yours?
mine was bigger than that. Mine was, I think, 5,000 people, but I
But I
don't
was like,
know.
if I'm gonna be in the Navy, I want to see
I'm
the
in
fucking world.
3,800 or something like that.
I was like, man, if I'm gonna be in the Navy, I want to see the world. I want to go to all these different countries.
Yeah.
And I wanted West Coast too, because I want to get the fuck away. I didn't want to go East Coast. I wanted West Coast, and I
Well,
wanted to go overseas.
I was from West Virginia. I didn't want to go to Norfolk. I mean, that's
Yeah,
only a few hours away. I didn't want to do that.
and I'm glad I did pick overseas because it sent me right to the five. I was like, fuck yeah. And then I was pissed when we learned we was getting reported at 98, right?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that
like,
sucked.
I was like, what the fuck? I just got here. I've only been here not even a year yet. I was like, what the fuck?
I know.
You know,
That's
I
only
was like,
lost a lot of people because we did that shift and
yeah,
then
the cross deck shit.
yeah, that kind of hurt me on remembering people's names, and then we got a
Yeah.
whole bunch of new people and a whole bunch
Yep.
of older people
And
left.
I tried to stay in Japan, right? And old Turbo goes, boy, you ain't fucking leaving this boat, boy. You're mine. I was like, motherfucker. I say, I want to stay in Japan. He said, nope, you're coming with the five. You're
Oh,
going
I
first.
remember that chief's name, Gunter.
Gunter, okay.
Gunter.
EMC.
Yes.
Not the one that got busted for child porn.
No,
No.
he was. I don't think it was. I think he had a heart issue. He ended up having a heart attack or something. But who was the one that did the child porn?
His name was Kovacs.
Oh no, this was Gunter. Gunter.
And
Chief
it was
Gunter.
it was crazy. His name was Chief Kovacs. He had glasses. I think he had brown hair and blue eyes. He
Yeah.
didn't look like, well, maybe he was kind of, I don't know what happened to him.
I don't even really remember the
I
name.
know that he got arrested
Was it
and
five?
removed from the ship. That's all I really know about it. But I remember he got busted for that crap, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I didn't know about that shit back then.
What group
Oh,
was he over?
He was the 3MC, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember they had a 3MC. And of course, every 3MC that you have is usually someone that's in combat systems that has to deal with guns or missiles or something like that, or it's
right,
an engineering chief.
right.
Sometimes a boatswain mate, but mainly it was engineering or combat systems.
that's because most of us ain't very smart to do that shit.
Make you some.
Oh, thank you.
I'll say it, even if Whitney was there, I'd be like, most of us ain't very smart to do that part.
That's
But
true.
anyways, real quick before we do anything, hey, today is the chief's birthday, right? The Navy chief birthday. It's also fucking Taco fucking Tuesday. So I want to give honor to my taco truck for
Well,
fucking
it's not
Taco
Taco
Tuesday.
Tuesday for
So
us.
that's why I say I'm the chief of fucking tacos. And I wanted to share this with everyone, whether they're watching us or not. I wanted to share this because it's kind of fucking important. And here we go. This is the Navy chief pay chart. So on February 25th, 1893, Benjamin Harrison signed an executive order distributed by the Secretary of the Navy via the General Order number 409, establishing the monthly pay for those enlisted in the United States Navy in the order of chief was officially applied to a select few ratings. On March 13th, 1893, the Navy Department informed the fleet via the U.S. Navy Regulation Circular number 1 that the Navy's regulations will contain the classification of Chief Petty Officer effective April 1st, 1891. That's why it's our birthday for the Chiefs, thereby officially establishing the rank of Navy Chief Petty Officer. And on that, this was
130,
probably the most important fucking lines in the whole Chief Creed when I became Chief, and they actually say this in fucking Men of Honor. By experience, by performance, and by testing, you have been advanced to Chief Petty Officer. I'm going to highlight it. In the United States Navy, and only in the United States Navy, the rank of E7 carries with it unique responsibilities and privileges you are expected to fulfill and bound to observe. And what that means is when I was in the Navy, after I made chief and I started talking to a lot of people, there's a lot of guys in the Middle East that were chief petty officers that were in charge of some big fucking important things that I knew. And they were in charge of like shit in Afghanistan, Iraq, anywhere else you could think. But I just wanted to give honor to the chief petty officer, United States Navy, because it is our birthday. And then you
132 year old,
yield, okay?
132-year-old.
Yeah. You know, Matt and me. Matt and me became chiefs, fortunately, and I'm thankful for that. And it kind of becomes something that's part of your blood and part of who you are afterwards.
I think
And
it's
not
bad
every, and
having
not everybody
somebody.
makes chief too. That's the
No,
thing.
no, it's almost equivalent to like becoming NFL Hall of Fame or Baseball Hall of Fame. I would
How
equate it
feels
to
like
that
that?
because not everybody becomes that. And you know what? There are some people that they never made chief and they should have made it.
And there's people who made it that shouldn't have
It
made it.
should have never,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
it's just the way it goes. So I mean, when I became a chief, I became the chief petty officer that I needed.
That was the best thing to do. I
Yeah,
think that was.
and I made it, I made that my goal because it took me a lot. It took me 17 and a half years, but I did it.
Like
And so
Termo was a good chief to
it
me.
was.
Yeah.
He was that way because he would take care of you. He understood because chiefs are special because they've been there where you are, and they're a little bit more understanding. Period. Usually, unless they're like
Yeah,
totally,
yeah, but
totally hot.
the thing is, like when you become a chief, they say never forget where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
Because you come from E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, right?
Totally different from a warrant officer who just like absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Well, not always though. I had some good
Not
warrant
always.
officers.
Not always
That's because those warrant officers start around E5.
No,
Yeah.
no, E8, E7, E8.
Yeah,
The ones,
like
the ones I was
there was a
around,
point
anyways.
where
Army's E5 goes from Navy Army.
there was a point where like I thought about becoming a chief warrant officer, but they sundowned it. The MCPON at the time sundowned it. Then after this motherfucker retired, I forget his name. He
They
was
brought it back. That's what they did.
they brought it back.
Yep.
They brought it fucking back. But you know, I never forgot that. Never forget where you come from. Because I ended up working for a chief when I was in Gitmo who forgot where he came from. And I almost went to fucking blows with this guy.
Yeah.
And I almost went to blows with another guy that ended up making senior chief in Bahrain. He would mock me because I was an MA1. And one of the old shipmates, remember Glenn fucking Locke, BM3 Locke from the Fife? He was
Yeah.
out there with me, and he had to hold me back from beating the fuck out of this dude.
Damn.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm never gonna be like these idiots that mock me and call me MA1, Petty Officer First Class. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to make your rank, but you know what? When I make your rank, I'm gonna be better than you.
You should have beat the shit out of God's Bass. You would have made Chief faster.
Yeah, because you know, Chief Termo talked to me and Gilly. I think were we in EOC we were in
TCS.
PCS, right? And he's sitting in the EL chair and me and Gilly are right there. He's like, you guys can't make chief unless you get an STD 3 times and you go to captain's mast 3 times.
Well, I achieved the Captain's Bass part only twice, but I never achieved the STD shit.
But what was so funny though was like after that happened, anyone that went to captain's mast 3 times got fucking kicked out.
Oh yeah.
And then by the time it was like 2008, 2009, you went to mass 1 time sometimes, they'd kick your ass out.
Yeah.
So
Depending on what
I
you did.
I wanted to give honor to the chief petty officer because it is the chief petty officer birthday and it is also fucking Taco Tuesday. So if you want tacos, go buy some fucking tacos and eat them.
And you know, it was like for me getting like ox steaming cold iron and you know all of that stuff. You know, I did it as an E3. I think right before you guys came on, I was already like
You was
cold
E4. You made E4.
You were GSM 3 Delp at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we came on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then you
So-
made GSM 2.
Well, then you got busted down.
Yep. And then I had to get it back.
Yep.
But then I think Chief Gunther and Termo, like, they really had a lot of trust in me and what I knew and what I did, even though I did have some fun and, you know, nobody's perfect. And, you know, I enjoyed the knowledge and being able to be qualified at that post, you know, and I always liked teaching all the other guys too. And that's what I missed the most when I left is probably teaching everybody everything that I knew. And I kind of took pride in that, but it took the Chiefs, you know, there was some question on whether to give me those qualifications at the time too, of being such a young guy and such a low rank and, you know, having the guts to stand up to some of these other guys and say, hey, you know, he can be qualified. And, you know, Termo and Gunter was, you know, the two that helped me the most. And I think, I can't remember his name, but it was the guy who was on the bipolar meds. He was there with us for a while and then he finally left the ship. He was the one that checked everybody's socks.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. God damn it.
What the hell's his name?
I know what you're talking about.
He was a total dick.
Oh, yeah, make sure we don't have white socks on. Gotta have black socks on.
I know. He was a total dick.
I got hit a couple times on that because I was fucking still hungover. I'm like, you gonna look for my fucking black socks? I'm wearing white socks today.
Gilly, you got hit on that all the time.
Not as much as Rocky did. Rocky got hit more than I did on the first.
I remember Eureka coming up into fucking CCS for muster with fucking black spray paint.
Yep.
And then he'd come in with fucking black spray paint in one hand and a fucking Bic razor, disposable razor in another hand during fucking muster. And if you had white socks on, he'd spray them motherfuckers right there while you were wearing them.
And
And
see,
if you didn't shave, you had to fucking dry shave right in front of him. right in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
everybody.
You know
You
what
got
was
hit with the
so
dry
funny
shave because
about
you're so
that?
fucking hairy.
He was a,
You know what was so funny about that? Like at that time, I could not grow facial hair. So yeah, I had the white socks,
You
but
still
I
can't
also
grow
had I
facial
had
hair.
those white. You remember the white socks? They had like these white and black socks where it was like white on the bottom and black on top.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we would
That's what
use
I
those.
wore. But then I ended up switching to this all black socks, and I ended up getting athlete's feet, and then I had to get two pair of boots because after we fucking crossed the line in February of '97. Oh man, I had to
Oh, we
throw my
had to.
camp boots
And they
away.
told us, Chief Turnbull told me and you to make sure we have another pair of boots
I guess I didn't
before we
listen at
left
the
on that
time. I
cruise.
was stupid. I was
You want to
stupid.
know
Probably
something
didn't
crazy?
listen.
You want to know something crazy? Is I still wear black socks. That's all I ever wear. I have
That's
no
what I
white
wear
socks at
too.
home.
I either wear black socks or no socks. Plain
I wear
simple.
white socks or no socks. I'm not
I
wearing
can't-
black socks again.
I wear black socks, and they're all high because I wear cowboy boots only. I don't wear tennis shoes or anything. And I have a pair of running shoes that I haven't worn in like 2 years, 3 years. But I have black socks that I wear with that when I run. So like they're like short socks,
Yep.
but all my other socks are boot socks because I wear cowboy boots everywhere.
Well, even when I'm wearing my cowboy boots, right? You know, I'll still wear the fucking short black socks, the ankle socks.
Oh God, I can't do that in cowboy boots.
I can, but most of the time nowadays, what I'm wearing is either tennis shoes, most times flip flops. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if it's cold outside. I'm wearing flip flops.
See, I don't care if it's hot. I'll wear jeans and cowboy boots all summer. It
See
doesn't
me?
bother me none.
Not me. Fuck that. I'm different. I'm the opposite on that one. When it becomes 85, especially when it hit 90, 95 here in Missouri, I'm wearing shorts, tank tops, and that's it.
I can't. I don't like it. I don't like fucking wearing flip flops and shit.
I do. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't because even when I got out, I had to wear steel-toed boots, right? But when the doctors told me, that you can't work in this type of job no more, right? I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna wear flip-flops. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna enjoy it.
You wore flip flops all the time when you weren't wearing your boots on board. I remember that.
But
Yeah,
that's what was
you
in the
did.
berthing. That's what was in the berthing.
Right. I still never.
Your shower shoes.
Yeah. This stuff. I mean, hell, you had to.
But I was trying to remember that chief's name because I kicked him out of CCS, I think, when I was top watch.
Yeah.
And he went to the XO. And Chief Termo stood by me because he tried to come back down. And he told him to get his ass out, but I had already told him to get his ass out because he was pissed off because I was switching generators, I think, because we had a problem with one of them. And I already knew we had a problem with it, and it had high vibration and stuff. So he was telling me that I didn't know what I was doing. And,
Was that GTG 1?
I can't remember.
I think it was GTG 1 because I don't think GTG 2 or 3 had problems like that.
Actually, 3, when every now and then, 3 had problems every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we always had
Maybe it
tech
was
rips come on.
GTG 3.
Yeah, we had a hard time with that one. It was something, a vibration issue. And
You
we
know
kept
why?
going down.
You know why that fucking space was fucking weird.
I
Which
love
one?
that space. That was my
No,
favorite
no,
space.
Like remember I told you the ghost story about that? Like I went
Well,
down there
yeah.
one time and I was the ERM, and I think this was on the 1998 deployment, right? Right before I made third class as a DC-3. And something behind me that was invisible pushed me. And like I was like, this is fucking crazy because the sea wasn't rough that day.
And
There
where
was
were you
barely
at?
anything. Huh?
Where were you at?
I was right by where you check the temperature and the gauge on GTG3
Oh,
in Gen 3, right? And something pushed me and I looked around and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I don't know. I don't remember that generator having problems. I remember like Gen 1 having problems.
The Gen 1 had problems, but Gen 3 had its own little problems every now and then, too. That would
it
flare
did
out.
too.
Gen
Yeah.
3 didn't like to start up. That was the problem. Every time you went to start it up, it would fucking want to
Well,
fuck around and
I
not
remember
start.
like one time we went.
You got to make love to it like I did when I go back there, right? To watch them like, come on, baby, Star Force Day, baby,
No,
come on.
you
That
had to
fucker would
talk to
always
it
mess
like
up
you
the
had to
feed
talk to
water,
it like it
dude.
was the Dukes of Hazzard. Like you're
Didn't
my favorite girl.
I did
That
too.
fucker,
yeah. If I
I
that
did
remember,
fucker
too.
would always fuck up the feed water though. Every time, it never failed.
I think
It would
on
have an issue starting, and then all of a sudden the feed water would be all fucked up.
I think on Gen 3 the problem was is you couldn't reset the fuel valve. It would
Yeah.
always pop on you. And then so it shut off the fuel because if you remember it was like that safety valve that had
Yeah.
to like
Yep.
it would emergency shut off. It would like trip and fall down. I can't remember how it worked, but if you didn't reset it properly,
Yep.
when it went to start, it would slam close and then it wouldn't start. And then it was like, oh shit. And then you knew what happened. So you'd have to run back there and reset it.
See, there was only a couple of us that knew how to reset it the right way.
Right.
You know, not anybody could do that.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of us that could do
No,
it.
I mean, like it was it was
special.
specialized what you knew, what you did.
Because
A
I
lot of
know
people would fuck it up even more if they went back there. Yeah.
because I know Delp, he showed me how to reset the first time. This is what was on the way 97 happened.
Yeah.
And Delp goes, come back here with me. We'll show you how to do this. That way you know how to do it. Because me and Rocky got qualified ERM same fucking time when I was a fucking, E2 and he was at E3.
Right.
And you're like, come on, boys, you're gonna learn this shit. So you know that way you know how to do it the right way.
You know, and I was actually proud to get qualified doing that stuff.
Well, and Turbo pushed us too. And Delp pushed us too. Because they didn't want to stay at all the watch because they was port starboard at the time too.
You know what fucking thing I hated the most?
You know what?
And I did this with Jose a lot. Grijalva de Leon. Remember he'd always go.
Yeah.
It was the lube oil thing. Remember the lube oil filters?
Purifier.
Purifier.
Yeah, the lube oil purifier. I remember
Starting to
doing that with them all the time.
Yeah, you couldn't start the purifier with the procedure.
Yep.
If you did, it would fucking go everywhere.
Yeah.
That
It would
motherfucker
puke.
would burn
It would puke.
everywhere.
You know what though? I got really good at the job, and I got so good that I could do PHOS, which is CRP, controllable reversible pitch. Remember that? I remember you, Chris, telling me, yeah, you can stop on a fucking dime on this shit. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. How does the physics work? I was thinking that. I believed you, but I was like, how does this actually work? Because you're still going to slide. But, it was cool that you had that ability on a ship to do that.
Yeah.
Or someone.
If you think about it, like all these fucking purifiers and stuff that we learned, like I was the only one there for the longest time that could take apart a fucking fuel purifier. All those discs, that fucking stack on top of each other and they got to go a certain way and you got to groove and all that. After a couple people left from the Japan crew, there was nobody else besides myself that knew how to fucking do that.
Yeah.
And so,
technically people could. They just had to redo it a couple times.
Yeah, good could do it. Good could do it. Tamayo could do it, but other than that, I wouldn't have trusted anybody.
they would fuck it up every time.
Does anybody talk to Tamayo?
I do every once in a while.
How's he doing?
Good, I guess. He's got his kid, and I think he got married, but then he got divorced, and I think he has his kid. So, but I think he's doing pretty good. We talk every once in a while on.
That's good. I hope he's doing good. If you talk to him, tell him we said hi.
Yeah.
Tell him we said hi from the fucking Pfeiffers.
I will definitely tell him. But I don't think I've seen anything in a couple months. I think he posted a picture of his kid.
Hey, Chris, I see your hat right there. Is that a Bigfoot on your hat?
Oh yeah.
Have you actually seen a Bigfoot or anything, or no?
I haven't. Boy, I would love to though. I'm not a non-believer because you hear so many stories, and I told you I listen to like Wesley every night, and I listen to a lot of that stuff.
Do you listen to the confessionals, or do you listen to the confessionals, or Blurry Creatures, or Sasquatch Chronicles?
So Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes, and then here I'll just pull it up. Yeah, I do it on Spotify. So Oh, Bigfoot Society and Sasquatch Chronicles. Bigfoot Society has a lot more episodes, so they kind of keep up. But Wes on Sasquatch Chronicles, he's kind of slacked off now to where you only get like one show, like Friday or Saturday.
Dude, you have to listen to the confessionals with Tony Merkel and Blurry Creatures. And
Oh,
I think it's the guys that do it on the Blurry Creatures are Nate Henry and Luke Rogers. I don't know if he's related to Aaron Rodgers, the football player. It almost seems like he is. But they have some amazing podcasts. If you like that kind of stuff, like cryptids or whatever,
yeah, I go to bed.
they have a biblical point of view slant, but it really makes it fucking interesting, dude.
Yeah, I go to bed listening to it. So,
Hey,
No,
speaking of Stafford, his boy just made first class today.
did he?
Yeah,
And
DJ
it doesn't seem too long ago he just joined. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
what's his
Yeah.
rate? What did he make MA1? What did he make first?
I don't know what his rate is. Stafford just posted on Facebook, congratulations to DJ, made first class payoffs today.
I
That's
was
awesome.
thinking he was a radioman, but I can't remember.
And his daughters, I think, is in too.
She was in Before the Sun, I believe.
Yeah, she
I think
was.
she was the first one. She's older.
Yeah, I don't know if she's in or not, though. So, if she's still in.
I remember going to Bill's house in Japan when they were just little tiny babies.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Apparently, on Twitter, it's going crazy right now that the Pentagon ordered additional squadrons and air units to the Middle East, extended the deployment of the Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group, and deployed the Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group to the region.
Bob, I ran.
That just came off my Twitter right now.
When you said that, I was thinking of my, you know those reels, right? With the fucking, fucking fighter jets, fucking Warhol, right?
Yeah, there's some shit going to be happening, man.
So what's going on?
So Iran's about to have a bad fucking day if they keep it up.
Dude, these guys are asking for it, man. If you look, I'm going to say something real quick. Just don't get mad. Jeremiah chapter 49.
I don't know.
Talks about Elam. Elam in the Bible is Persia, which is also Iran. And these motherfuckers are going to get judged and they're going to get destroyed. And of course, in the Bible, it says that the Most High God is going to set his throne there too. He's going to have a throne in Israel and there too. So it's
right now they're going to get judged by a pissed off crew of the Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group that has to stay there longer. They're going to be judged by them because they're going to be fucking pissed. And then they're going to get judged by the Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group because now they have to go there. So there's going to be a lot of judging going on, and it's going to be one way.
Yeah, and I know. You know, I did 2 months on the Chucky V. That's what we call the Carl Vinson, the Chucky V. And that was an awesome, dude. It was older than the Abraham Lincoln that I was on, but it was a really awesome crew. Like back when I was on there, dude, that ship was fucking awesome.
Yeah, those strike groups right there are I mean, none of our strike groups are anything to play with, but now you've got one that's pissed off because they just got extended, and now you got a new one that said, hey, now you got to go. So now they're going to be pissed off.
Oh, I
be a bad day.
I guarantee you they're waiting for the rules of engagement and the rules of fucking war.
Well, here's the thing is the new SecDef, the rules of engagement are a little bit different with him. He has a good head on his shoulders as far as how things need to be done.
He's actually been
exactly. He's doing exactly what I would think and what Gilly would think and probably everyone else sitting here would think.
That's because he was one of us. You know, he knows how our hands were tied. I mean, dude, I did boots on ground in Iraq. You know, I was there before the fucking troop surge and during the troop surge and after the British pulled out and the ROE changing left and right and us having to know it every day. We walk out that wire, roll out the wire and everything. And it was crazy. And so with him being the SecDef now and our commander in chief, They're not going to fuck around. There's not going to be this bullshit. Oh, you got to wait until this happens or this happens before you can. No, fuck that. It's business, and this is how we get business done.
Yeah.
And man,
That's like,
you got 2 carrier strike groups right now. In that's. I don't think the average American realizes the amount of fucking pain that can bring on one region.
oh yeah, dude, we can annihilate a whole fucking region just one fucking carrier and fucking goddamn a destroyer. That's it. That's all the fuck we need.
Dude.
And then you
I
then
wouldn't
you
want
put
to
the
be
subs,
within 1,000 miles.
and then on top of that, you add the subs to it too. The CGs to it, fucking frigates. I mean, people don't realize how much firepower the Navy fucking has on the ships. They forget.
I would not want to be on the receiving end. I mean, you think about the amount of firepower and hell that one strike group can do.
Yeah.
And now you've got 2 that are looking at you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't even want to. I wouldn't, if I was a leader of a country, I wouldn't want one ship from the carrier strike group looking at me. Now you have
skull?
all of them.
You see that skull?
Oh, that's cool. Puncher.
Killing is my business, and my business is good. These people don't fucking understand that yet. I don't think Americans understand killing is my business and business is good. And it's actually from the Punisher, but Megadeth did a fucking album on that. You know Megadeth, right?
When I was a contractor overseas, the third world nationals and the locals and everything, they were very quiet around us. They wouldn't be really stupid at all, because we operated differently and we were in different. We didn't operate like everybody else did, and it was a whole different ball game, and we were respected a lot more than the military was, because they knew what they could get away with the military, to them. They didn't know what they could get away with us.
You know why? Because of the jagoffs.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know.
Now he's gotten rid of the fucking jagoffs. And those motherfuckers make everything stupid.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of freedom being thrown around right now towards Iran, I think. Because I think Israel and stuff right now, with the way things are going, they need the help, and I think that I think that that's what this is gonna happen. There's help definitely there and on the way. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of crazy.
Hey, speaking of Chiefs, did you guys ever keep in contact with Maria Shade?
With who?
Maria Shade. She used to be our yeoman. She's the one that married McCully.
I did not know.
So I think she made senior chief, and then she was like the chief yeoman for the Blue Angels when she retired.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she did good, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Or she might have made Master Chief before she got out, but she ended up like the head yeoman or whatever for the office for the Blue Angels.
Nice. That's awesome. That'd be a good gig.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. There's a couple of people like that I see that like I'm like feel so proud of, seeing that they made Chief, Rocky being one.
Man. A lot of times when I thought about it, I was like, I made Chief for a lot of people that I loved and cared for that were on the Fife and all my other commands, because they never did.
Right.
And I think a lot of them deserved it, because they were better leaders than the people I had to work for.
Bartone made Chief too, didn't he?
Bartone?
Yeah. GSE. He was in the GSE shop. He had the clef lit.
I don't remember, man.
Yeah, fucking
Bartone made Chief, didn't he?
Bartone, yeah. I think he made Senior Chief.
Did he? Yeah.
I know he made Chief. I think he made Senior Chief too.
His first name's Scott, right?
Yep. Mark Toad, yep.
But what's so crazy is like after I got out of I left the Fife, I kept in touch with a couple of guys,
Yeah.
right? Because they ended up
Sorry.
doing other ships that would pull into Seal Beach, and I talked to them on the shore when I was an
He was
MH.
at ACU 4. So did he work with Little Tate or no?
Maybe.
I don't think he did. I don't think he was there at AC4 when Lil Tate was there.
Because it looks like he was at ACU 4 2 times.
Whatever happened to Sterling?
He's still back in California, I think.
Eric,
I don't
as
know.
far as I know, Eric made chief.
That's what I was thinking he did.
He made chief, and then something happened, and he got out of the Navy. But I remember Eric. Eric was a good guy, man. And I remember when he had his daughter, and he named her Nemesis. I will never forget this. I will never forget this. His daughter was named Nemesis, and I forget who the mother was.
So that's
But
him
I know his daughter passed away.
2024.
Yeah.
But he fucking still looks young as shit.
I know. There's him and his daughter. I don't know if you can see it.
That's so fucking cool, man. We gotta get him on here too because I miss that dude.
That's his son, I think. Actually. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, who's that?
I'm not sure if I'm still friends with Sterling. Let's see if he unfriended me here.
I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I know I was, but
I got him on there now.
oh
It
yeah, I'm
looks
still.
like it looks like he went to Mount Fuji and hiked it even.
Yeah, I'm still friends with him on Facebook, but because sometimes people who vote left, right, they unfriend you.
Yeah, I've had that happen too.
So
That happened.
But they never would explain to me why they were mad at me.
Macaulay hasn't unfriended me though.
no, Macaulay hadn't unfriended me either. But I got Macaulay's number, right? But the motherfucker never answers the phone. I'm like, motherfucker, pick up.
Was he on the US? Was Sterling on the Fitzgerald? He has a patch picture of the USS Fitzgerald.
I think he went to the Fitzgerald after the Fife.
Yeah, because here's him in his other uniform for ACU 4, looks like.
Oh, Junior Anderson. I forgot about him too.
So yeah. Quite a few people made chief. I would have made it if I would have stayed in probably one more year.
I think you would have made it, Brett, and I think Jay would have made it.
I would have never made chief. I would have been lucky to get E6. Time.
Had you not got in trouble, bro, you would have made chief before me.
No, I wouldn't have because I've been busted down 2 ranks twice.
But you forget we had that BMC that was.
What did you get busted for?
Red striped. Yeah, red stripes on his fucking sleeve, bro.
Did you get busted when I left?
No, this is what got all the. Well, I was not on the Fife when I got busted. I never got with the cat's bash once on the Fife.
That's what I was thinking.
You were fucking close.
Motherfucker, I was never close for that.
I was gone for sure then.
But I was on the laboon of Norfolk when that happened. The first time, I'll just say the first time was we was in Bahrain, right? Pulled in 2002. Fucking, I was RE5. Then fucking me and another guy that was a GSM3 and Maid 2, even though I was in Maid 1. We went out together drinking. And fucking, he was so fucking drunk. I said, remember the old 7-Eleven pier or place right there on the pier? Little Haji Mark, right? I call it 7-Eleven. I said, you sit your ass down here and don't say a word to nobody, motherfucker. Because he was like Cav, right? He was my height, built like me, but he was a former jarhead. So he had that fight mentality. I said, shut down, shut the fuck up, don't talk to nobody. I said, I'm going to go here and get me a fucking burrito and a fucking Mountain Dew. I said, I'll be right back. I paid for my food. I heard this commotion. I said, fucking Iker, you motherfucker. And he was arguing with some fucking guy, right? I don't know who he was. So I grabbed Iker. I said, come on, we're going back to the fucking boat now. And next thing I know, I'm getting pushed behind. I turned around. I said, motherfucker, you fucked up. I turned around and started beating the hell out of him. Come to find out, that motherfucker was the XO off the Denver.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
yeah, and he's the one that started the fight. And I'm like, how the fuck am I getting in trouble when that motherfucker started it? You know. But yeah, I mean, but I would have been like good, right? Since I got busted down twice. I would have made E6, but I would have been at that very cut point since they took away the E5 20-year rule, right? When they did that, made it 14 years before you get kicked out. I probably would have been that. Because, like, because GSM was getting fucking closed up quick, too. Like it usually is. It opens up for a while and gets closed again.
Yeah, well, it was open when I joined, and then all of a sudden it kind of closed up when they took all the BTs and brought them over.
Well, and all these fucking, they started bringing everybody as GS, seemed like, almost.
Yeah.
That's like I would have made E5 all the fucking Laboon. Oh, not on the Laboon, but the 5, right? This was in 2000. Because, 2001. I told him, I said, I want to get my license back, right? Because at 2000, right before he left for that cruise, I got DWI back home. I never told the fucking boat this. I did not want to get hammered again. And the judge made sure that I didn't have to be there because he knew I was getting ready to go on deployment again.
Right.
So he was, because he got his law degree in the Navy. So he was a JAG lawyer. So he understood that he goes, yeah, I'm going to fucking hammer you. He said, and you're going to get hammered by the Navy. He said, I want to make it as easy as possible for you on this one. And he did, too. So I was like, okay, that's the reason why I went to fucking Brimpton for rehab. Not because I was drunk on duty or anything like that. Right. I wanted to get my license back, but I had to tell him I had a problem. I couldn't tell him I got my license suspended. And the fucking Hicks, NC Hicks, right? At the time, he was chief. He made chief. That motherfucker did not send my test to fucking Bremerton because all these other E3s in class with me, right? They're like, hey, your test is here, right? You'll go take your second class test. I said, hey, where's mine at? Well, your boat had sent over, and I called the boat. I said, Hicks, what the fuck? I said, I'm up for fucking E5 this go around. He said, well, I didn't think about it. I said, you motherfucker, fuck me. Because GSF2 was wide open, too. Right there.
Wow.
But when I took it the next cycle, right, dude, I was in the top percentile where I was getting paid the next pay cycle on it. And then I actually got it back twice, right? Each time I was in the top percent of the Navy for that. But
that's why I think you would have made chief had you not got in trouble, dude.
Well,
I think you actually would have retired as a fucking master chief, bro.
Well, that second time, right? The captain gave me an option, right? To stay in or get out, right? But see, that was right after fucking my grandma. I got a Red Cross message saying that she had cancer again. Right? And we had like so much to live, we was getting ready to go back on deployment. And we was getting put no folk, even though we was getting ready to go through ESERT and all that shit again. I tried to do it. I went to chain command, right? I said, look, I'm asking for 2 or 3 days, 3 days tops. I said, I want to be able to say my goodbyes in case she dies while I'm on deployment, when we're on deployment.
That sounds fucking reasonable to me.
And I told him why. Because every time I was on deployment, whether it be 98, 2000, or 2002, I always lost a family member. I lost my great-grandparents, all that shit, right? Always did. Seemed like. And I couldn't go home because of Operation Readiness, which I understood that, right? If you're qualified, you can't go. Fine. But when you're important, there's no reason why you can't go home and say goodbye, your goodbyes. The one guy goes, well, you can say it over the phone. I said, fuck you. That ain't happening. And the warrant officer, the MPA, he had my back. I mean, he did. Some of the other ones did too. But the captain goes, no. He's not, no. I said, you don't understand. I'm going home. And I did too. When I came back, the captain goes, well, took me at mass. He said, Officer Gillespie, he said, before I bust down, he said, you want to fucking stay in or get out? I said, if this is how the East Coast Navy is, I said, you can take your Navy and shove it straight up your ass, sir.
I heard it's totally different on the East Coast than it was the
Oh,
West
it is too. Yeah.
I can actually vouch for that
Me too.
because
I know.
I
Let me finish my
became
story. Let me finish
I
my
will.
story, Rocky.
Sorry.
But he gave me the choice, you know. But what they did was, see, I still got an honorable discharge. See, they used the alcohol for that medical discharge. What they did on it, because they knew they fucked up. I probably could have taken the Jag, and probably won it if I wanted to. But the East Coast fucking just burnt me out right then and there. That command fucking ruined me. I mean, I still love the baby and all that, but I was like, fuck you, motherfuckers. And I was getting ready to go shore duty in New Hampshire, too. You know, at that time, too. But I said, nope, I'm done. But I mean, I could have got my E5 back if I would have stayed in. I would just been a fireman. I'd have to go through all the bullshit again and stuff. But that captain didn't like me anyways, because at that time I was the only E5 EAL that they had, but I couldn't stand it because he didn't like me. Because I fucking kicked his ass out of the fucking CCS one day. We had a new guy on the FC, right? This motherfucker was trying to learn, right? How to do it. The only way to learn is to fucking actually do it, right?
Yep.
And I said, leave him the fuck alone, sir. I said, he's new. I said, don't breathe over him. I said, he's trying to learn this shit so he can get qualified. Do not make him nervous. He didn't listen. Fucking lost the janitor. I said, get the fuck out of my fucking control room now, motherfucker. And he did leave. But he always held that against me, too. On it. But then we do it workups, right? He goes, hey, Officer Gillespie. He said, you're on restriction, but he said, I could send you to brig right now. I said, go ahead, sir. I don't care. He said, but I need you for the drills and all that shit. He said, but if you fuck up one drill, you were going to brig. I said, no, I ain't no problem, sir. I had kind of had that shitty grin, right? That little smart ass grin.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Chief Tate and all them fucking like, Gilly, what the fuck? You should be fucking at least a first class, but I said, well, there's a long story to that, Chief. Because he was senior chief at that time. And when he found out, he told the captain, he said, you're a fucking idiot. You know. And the captain goes, how the fuck do you know him? You know, talk to them. He said, I remember this motherfucker, he was a fucking fireman. And we drilled their asses when they got back from Japan. All this shit. He said, you don't have to worry about him. He knows his shit.
Yeah,
he said that time
was
too.
One of the best.
Sometimes it's the leadership like that does it to you, no matter how good you are at your job. And
we also had a chief, right? He was a good chief, but he had no backbone, right? He couldn't stand up for himself, hardly, or his people, right? I did not like that. And I had a senior chief. He didn't like me because I drank, because he was a former alcoholic, right? You know, he didn't like me because I drank. Plus, he didn't like West Coast sailors. But the captain was on the other rep. I was on down the engine room. I was on the fucking forward, fuel station, right? On D&G, that forward one is up in the air, right? Real fucking small platform. That was fucking. I didn't have the word yet from down below to send the fuel over, right? And the captain goes, you need to send this down, petty officer. I said, I can't till I get the fucking order from down below. I said, you want to talk to them, God damn it. Because he's wanting me to send it with nothing lined up. I told him, I said, I'm not going to fucking blow this fucking hose out just because you're fucking impatient.
Yeah.
You know, that motherfucker, he was never an engineering captain. That's what made him a bad captain, in my opinion. You know, but that's how I lost my E5 twice.
I didn't have shit happen to me until Eureka got on board. Then all of a sudden, he had it out for me.
Eureka?
Well, I think that's when you get. It wasn't that when you got the nickname Dirty Delt too, was Eureka?
Yeah. He was just an asshole and a fucking jerk. I had like the best evals, fucking qualifications out the yin yang, to run that shit, backwards, forwards in the fucking dark, tell you every fucking valve number. And then when he came on board and started pulling his shit.
Yep.
Do you remember Eureka fucking getting me a drunk on duty?
Oh, yeah.
It was when we were up in Victoria and I had gone out the night before. I literally came back to the ship because I had duty the next day. I came back to the ship at 10 p.m. 10. Climbed in my rack, went to bed. Didn't shower, nothing. I mean, I just come back from the fucking bar. I was like tired as fuck. Climbed in the bed in my rack, and it was like 10:15, 10:20. Went to sleep, woke. I overslept. My alarm didn't go off. I didn't set my alarm right. I got woke up to him punching me and yanking me out of the rack, and it was he told me I was late for duty, that he smelled alcohol on me, and I said, yeah, I didn't shower the night before and brush my teeth. You literally just woke me up, you know. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm late, you know. Fuck, I overslept. He made me go to fucking medical. They didn't give me a breathalyzer or anything. They put me drunk on duty, and they put me SIQ for 8 fucking hours. So I missed, 8 hours of watches. So what they did was, once I wasn't SIQ anymore, I had to stand the watch from that point till fucking 7 a.m. till the next duty section came.
Yeah.
And I got fucked. And I wasn't even drunk. It was the fact that they smelled it because I didn't brush my fucking teeth before I went to fucking medical. And it was bullshit.
Yeah.
That was the one time he pissed me off. And I told him, I said, are you trying to fuck me in my career? Because I went out, I came back at 10 p.m. I said, the quarterdeck fucking has me coming on at 10 p.m. Like, it's not like I stayed out till fucking 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and came back and was drunk as fuck. I barely drank. And, oh, dude, it was so bad. I was so pissed. It's in my fucking medical record still. I look when I was filing for my VA stuff. Yeah, I was drunk on duty in my medical record.
Yeah, he thought that made him look good was to get somebody else in trouble. And he did that with all kinds of people. If he didn't like you personality wise, he would do that. So
Yeah, I know.
He didn't like me personality wise. So that day when I was on the gearbox, and I'm talking to Central on the fucking sound powered phone, having a conversation, and you're sitting there. There's nothing. You don't even really have a seat. You're just like kind of sitting there Indian style on that platform. So I'm just holding my hands on the phones because they're kind of hard to hear. So I'm just sitting like this, and next thing you know, I get that water on my fucking head from fucking 3-4 stories up. That fucking hurt. It fucking
The only one that deserved that was Swanson. Swanson was the only one that deserved that. The water.
And that actually hurt really fucking bad. And that was when I lost all respect. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen done.
Oh, dude, I have so many stories of after the fight of all the fucking dumb fucks I lost respect for. And a lot of them were chiefs and fucking officers.
Yeah, he was trying to make chief at the time, so he was trying to look good. So he was trying to make himself look good in front of all the chiefs. And that's when Termo stood up for me, and the master chief of the boat at that time, I forgot his name, the older guy.
Yeah.
Quasimodo is what I called him, a little hunchback.
Yeah, him. So when I went to the Chiefs mess for the Chiefs inquiry, they fucking tore him a fucking new one. I never told anybody. They told me not to say anything, but they fucking tore him a fucking new one then. And it was like, hey, this guy has never fucking slept on fucking watch, and he's always did this and did that and whatever. And
yeah, because I remember you went to mass for that.
Yeah. And I ended up getting nothing but like, I think some extra duty and whatever, because I couldn't prove that I wasn't really, I was talking on the phones, but, still he said he seen me asleep. So,
I think if it wasn't for Chief Tebow, because Chief Tebow fucking looked out for me like hardcore, because I busted my ass for that, oil lab and everything. And Chief Tebow was in charge of the oil lab. Chief Tebow protected me a lot from stuff that I probably would have gone to mass over. And it wasn't shit that was my fault, but Ureta, he always, like, there was certain GSM ones that always wanted to put their fucking hands in the oil lab. And with me being, an E5, And knowing that oil lab inside and out and being able to quote the procedures and the fucking instructions and everything else, the NSTMs, and I didn't have to pull out any type of fucking instruction to do a job in the oil lab. He protected me and kind of sheltered me from that, because there was a couple GSM ones that they didn't like the fact that I knew as much as I did, because it kind of threatened.
It made them look bad.
Yeah, I mean, there was a GSM one that was in the oil lab. He was in charge while I was the E5, but then it got flipped and I was in charge and he had to work for me, and he was an E6 and he didn't like that. And a couple other GSM ones thought that was fucked up, but it wasn't my fault. It was actually the GSM one's fault, because he wasn't doing the job that he was supposed to be doing. And
the thing with the oil lab is, right, not a lot of GSMs ever go in there very first of their career. Not a lot of them do. So when I got on Laboon, I got stuck in the oil lab, which I was grateful for, right? I was like, hell, I've never been in here before. I was like, hell yeah, get me out of the engine room. Then I got stuck back in the engine room pool, right? While I made E5 on Laboon, because they had GSM2 down there. This mother, he was a fucking 6Y push button motherfucker, right? Couldn't stand that son of a bitch. But he did not know his job. This motherfucker, he was smart as hell books, but to come job wise couldn't do it. So they
How
pulled
many
me
of them
out.
actually did when they were book smart? They didn't know anything.
So when they fucking was getting ready, this one was getting ready to go, got back from deployment and all that bullshit, right? Was getting ready to go through E-cert. Yeah, hot and cold checks, right? Mm-hmm. They pulled me to be the work center supervisor, main one. Because they're like, we need you. We had another second class that came on board a little bit later, about that time. It was me and him. We did all the checks for main one and a lot of them main two, too. We set the record for the East Coast on hot and cold checks completed. And that's how the Laboon got their fucking Battle E. If we would have did that shit, they was never gonna get their Battle E. But I mean, I'm glad I was in the old lab. I love that. DDG wise, fucking awesome, man. Push button shit, a lot of it was.
It's crazy because I was in the oil lab most of the time I was on the fight, but I could do anything in any engine room. I could operate anything there. I stood the CCS top watch. I stood the DC console. I stood all those fucking. I was like, and that I think that's another reason why certain GSM ones didn't like me, because I could do what they could do plus more. And back then, if you got sent to the oil lab, you were stuck there and you couldn't learn the other shit because you were kind of like shut out, But since when I got to the ship, I started out in main one, I was already kind of like in there. And so all the engine rooms knew me and they knew that I could do work because I worked for fucking Bittner. I mean, come on now. And then when I got put in the oil lab, I could stand in for people in the oil in the engine rooms and do shit for them on top of doing my job. So there was a bunch that it was almost like they were fucking threatened. And Chief Tebow really took care of me. And GSM1 Roan actually looked out for me, but he couldn't do a lot because he was the junior first class, as far as that goes. But
well, fuck, Roan was the second class when he got to the 5.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He was the junior first in engineering, so he couldn't do a whole lot, but he tried. I mean, and I appreciate for what he did, but I think that's part of the problem of when I left the Fife, my mentality was kind of fucked up, because it was almost like my own command was like trying to fuck with me almost, and I'm like, God damn, it's different than what it was when I got on board, because when I got on board, it was the Japan crew, right. and even though I wasn't in the Japan crew, I was treated like the Japan crew because I was there, first part of the 99. And
the Japan crew was totally different. We
100%.
That's what I was trying to talk about. Like, I didn't interrupt Jason when he was talking about, like, him and I started out as 7th Fleet with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were tight, right? And then 98 happened. We fucking changed ports to fucking what? Everett?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking dumbest place on fucking earth.
Yeah. And then Ureta came in, and I think he came in from he
San
wasn't a,
Diego. He
he
came
wasn't a
from San
GSM.
Diego, I think.
He wasn't a GSM though. I think he was either well, he might have been.
He was a
Wasn't he
GSM because
LTAC?
He was a
he
GSM
came
one
from
from
ACU
ACU
5.
five. ACU
Yeah.
5. So
Yeah.
he dealt with the hovercraft, right? So it's a
Right.
completely different fucking
So
animal
Hellcat.
from
when
the
he came on,
GSM to GSMs on a fucking destroyer.
yeah. So when he came in, he pretty much went to not come into the engine room, but just for a little bit, and then ended up in charge. But I had already been running that ship for 3 fucking years, and I'm trying to tell him what works, what doesn't work. We can't do that, or we can do that, and he wouldn't listen. And I think that's where we started bumping heads.
Yeah,
And
see,
dude, I've
and
seen
it's
that at other commands, Chris. I saw that at Seal Beach. I saw it in Atsugi. I saw it in Guantanamo Bay. I saw it in Bahrain. I saw it in Seal Beach the second time. I saw it on Lincoln, and I saw it on the Carl Vinson.
yeah,
I saw it at every single place I went. And I
yeah,
got to tell you this, the 7th Fleet was the best. They were
yeah,
always the best. We were the work hard, play hard guys, right? And then that mentality went to the West Coast when you went to the Pacific, right? Because that's where Washington was. But when I went to the East Coast, when I went to Gitmo and Washington, D.C., it was completely lame. Like the Navy was the lamest fucking shit in the world. Even Norfolk was lame. Norfolk was lame. Like I can
yeah.
vouch for what Jay's saying, where the West Coast was different, but even the West Coast was different from Japan.
See,
oh
if
yeah,
I would have if I would have took orders, I had orders go to. I could have had orders go back to the West Coast after sea school, right?
Hmm.
I could have went to John Paul Jones or Ureta was at. And I was like, I really don't want to be back in San Diego. I really don't want to go to San Diego. Let's let me try the East Coast, right? I should have went to San Diego, so I should have done. And then I was coming up for shore duty, right? When I had to pick orders for shore duty on the Laboon, I mean, they were like, well, we want to send you back to we want to send you to San Diego. At SEMA. I'm like, fuck you. If I'm going to do shore duty, I'm going to do something that's not with my rate. Play it simple, So it was a billet for a shipyard up there, handing out basketballs. That's what it was for at the fucking, I was like, fuck this, then I didn't get to go, but that's my fault there. But that's the fucking East Coast. I had enough of that shit.
Was that in Connecticut?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire?
Because I wanted to go up because I wanted to go up there because of the fucking duck hunting. That's why I wanted to go up there.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
I remember, dude, I had a guy that worked for me in Guantanamo Bay when I was the ATLPO, anti-terrorism. He told me a story about either it was Connecticut or New Hampshire. Someone went on the fucking quarterdeck as an MA or in the duty of an MA, pulled the fucking Beretta out and blew his fucking head off on the front of the quarterdeck.
Yeah.
I think somebody did that on the Fife before I got on board.
Yeah. Remember there was a ghost story about that.
Well, and I also remember too hearing a story up in Bay 2, right there on the upper level. Not the boiler flat, but when you first walk in, right?
Where the exhaust fans were?
Yep. That somebody hurt themselves. Yep. I can't remember exactly who told me that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
But don't you say you saw something like that before one time?
Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
All I know is
I know someone told us they saw that shit. They saw someone hanging from there. It was like a ghost.
Oh. I think I remember somebody saying it too. Now that you said
I don't know who it was though. I don't remember. I thought it was you, Gilly. But
I remember people saying that, but I never saw like an image of it, right? Like a ghost image. Because I'm not a believer. I mean, I ain't gonna say that.
Was that Max who used to say that?
Might have been.
I think Max said that. I think Max said he's seen somebody up there hanging from where the supply pans were. We used to have the that tie-off point for
Yep.
the chain falls.
Yep.
And I think he said from there.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, what I was saying though is when I got to the ship, I could see a difference between how I was welcomed versus other people after me, because it was the Japan crew when I was there. When I got there, there was still a bunch of the Japan crew there, and after I got there, being welcomed onto the ship was a lot different than when I got there, and the crew being tight, like basically like a family, that kind of went away.
It did.
There was
It
a
really
lot
did
more.
go away.
Yeah, there was a lot more turmoil between the crew than there used to be, because we used to be able to like lean on each other, like, "Hey, I'm having a fucking bad day. Just leave me the fuck alone. Let's get this." I think there was times, Delp, you and I even got into it and argued, but we got over it. We were fucking family, basically. But
because everybody's gonna disagree at some point. And, it was just one of those things where, okay, well, you disagreed. Well, that didn't mean you didn't play cards together, an hour later.
Or go drinking together.
It didn't mean you tried to fuck
or-
each other over all the goddamn fucking time. I could tell you guys, when I became an MA, you think the fuck games you had on the fight were real? Try MA1s trying to make MAC.
Yeah.
Or MA2s trying to make MA1 and then make MAC. I dealt with that crap. And I became such a senior fucking MA1 when I did. I told the other first classes, if you fuck me over or fuck anyone else over, I'm going to put my cup here. You're under my thumb, just like fucking the Rolling Stones song.
Yeah.
And I said, I will not let you do fucking anything until you work like a teammate and help everyone else out besides helping yourself.
Did Grahava make
fucking like that? We can go outside and I'll fucking fight you.
Yeah, Grahava made chief.
He made chief?
Yeah.
I don't know when he did. He might have made it before me. Who knows? I'm sure he did.
But I think he went MA, but did he change again after? Or did he stay MA?
I
think he stayed in MA, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Because he saw the writing on the side of the wall that he wanted to make rank faster. And GSM, there are some cycles you was not, man, it was hard.
Hey, did you guys remember how I used to sample the lube oil?
Oh yeah.
I didn't need the fucking lab.
Yep.
Remember, I would just drink the whole fucking bottle.
Yep.
The sample bottle.
The 2190.
Dude, all that is bitter oil, so it ain't gonna hurt you.
You didn't drink the 23,699, did you?
No. Not that.
End up with cancer with that one.
But I would bet people like $20 or whatever, and then I would just fucking down it. But then I'd be in the shitter like 15 minutes later, and it would all be fucking coming out.
23,699, man. I had some of that spill on my hands, and it created fucking spots on my hands.
Yeah, I have it too, and I get like if my hand gets hot or like sun on it or whatever, it starts breaking out between my fingers and shit like that. I get these little bumps, kind of like I guess it'd be kind of like poison ivy or whatever. It pops up. It's
yeah. I mean, and what's crazy is like when I ended up meeting Heidi, my wife, she likes cats, so I had to accept cats in my life. Well, we had this one cat. He was a Siamese, dude. He was fucking awesome. His name was Pumpkin, and he was such a cool cat. He would put his hand on me, like how you put a hand on someone when you like them. He would do that to me. And I would break out in like hives on my hand. And I'm like, is this from him? Because I'm allergic to cats? Or is it from the 23,699?
Yeah.
I never ended up making a claim on that because I didn't know which one it was when it was time to get out. But I know that 23,699 was some fucked up fucking shit, dude.
It was one of the
so was JP5.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
What about F76, dude?
The 23,699, that was one of the first synthetics that they ever came out with. So it was kind of experimental even.
See, I never got broke out when I had that shit on my hands, right? Because I never wore gloves with that shit either.
I
I
never
never
did.
broke out with it.
Dude, I
Like
probably have.
Verhoeven did. He had the
Oh
his
yeah.
shit looked
And you
I
know,
probably have fucking brain damage from sitting over sounding tubes, transferring fuel. All that fucking fuel coming out the sounding tube, just blowing up in your face.
oh yeah. I think the only person I ever really had a problem with, like, as in another actual GSM besides Rita, was good when he would do his samples and stuff and he'd fuck the boiler up while
Oh fuck! Yeah,
I'm just getting it fucking started and he fucks it up. And I'm like, you fucking asshole, fucking stop it. He'd be like, eat a dick and fucking walk off.
yeah, and then it takes fucking hours to fix the shit.
Yeah.
It's like fucking playing fucking table tennis with chemicals, trying to get it to fucking be right.
I know. And it was such a hard thing to teach to bring the boiler online, you know, sometimes. And it was one of those things you actually had to do and get comfortable with. And
I know.
he would be like, I'd be like, dude, just wait another fucking 30 minutes, then fucking take your sample. I mean, it's like, we're not ready to go. Fucking just stop.
For towards the end there, nobody was allowed to touch those boilers but me or Donnan.
Really?
That was it. I wouldn't allow anybody else to fucking take samples from those boilers because if they fuck that shit up and it got, or even treat them like Donnan, Rideout was pretty good with it, but Donnan, I trained him. I was like on Donnan on learning how to do that shit. He was on point. Donnan should have taken over the oil lab. But
do you still talk to Donnan?
he's on here every once in a while. Yeah, he's on Facebook and stuff. I talk to him every once in a while, see him on here, and
Well, tell him to come talk to us,
on
man.
one of our podcasts.
I never
Tell him
got
to come talk to us.
I never
I will.
got to meet him, I don't think.
He was
He
a cool
can't-
dude. He got
Donovan
in trouble
was-
a little bit, but
Dalvin was okay. So I never had a problem with him. See, him and Tom came on at the same time. See, when I got to Bay 1, when they switched me to Bay 2 to Bay 1 for fucking, because your Salvador was leaving
yep,
on it, I had to take over for him. I had a big problem with fucking Tom.
yeah,
That motherfucker was a push button fucking GSM, right? You know, that he first came on board, he did not earn his fucking stripes like we had to, right?
You know what was crazy about that was I did not believe that GSMs were push buttons like FC3s.
Oh yeah, but he fucking he was bitching that he was bitching that fucking wise little Tate getting to work on the turbines with me, and he's a third class. I said, motherfucker, because you haven't earned that right yet. You got to show me you can do the fucking dirt work first before I'm allow you touching these motherfuckers.
I don't know if you guys remember this. I was an undesignated fireman recruit when I got to the ship.
I know.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
I was not a GSM. I didn't go to.
I was neither. I was undesignated too, so was Rocky.
The
I
only
went through
one was
fucking Common
I
Core.
went to A school.
Yeah.
The other guys didn't.
Yeah, I didn't
They
either.
were all they come on fucking fireman recruits.
Does anybody talk to Michael Kelly?
He's
I haven't talked to him in forever.
He's on Facebook, but he's hardly ever on there.
Remember when he said this? It was when Mike showed up. I think Mike showed up before Even and Macaulay and fucking Hines were fucking with them. Remember, because they were R division, and he's like, "I'm not a boot camp. I went to A school."
Yeah, I remember that.
But dude, he was a good dude too, man.
Oh
and
yeah.
I think he's actually a real firefighter right now. So he actually did the job in the
Well,
Navy, and he got out and did it again.
Well, he's doing it at an airport there in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a question talking about the boiler earlier, and I can't remember who it was. So you remember the check valve right off of the boiler, the main line in main 2. It was up in the overhead before it went out through the doorway there.
Yeah, before the
And
B-way.
we had the lagging off of it, I think, for a while for something. We were either in the yard or something.
We was replacing the lagging on it.
And then
They had to replace that check valve, I think.
somebody replaced the fucking bolts in it and put like fucking brass fucking nuts on it because it looked prettier.
Yep.
And then the fucking top blew off on me when I started the boiler.
Yep.
And I can't remember who it was that changed those fucking bolts out to brass bolts to look good, and it blew them off, and I almost got fucking burnt to shit. I
I don't
think
rem-
it was
I don't
Rocky,
remember
if
who
I
it was either.
remember.
But I do remember that fucking blowing off the top, and
Yeah.
that whole section had to be fucking replaced because the pressure, it like cut through the fucking pipe even because of, when they fired it off, it was 500 fucking pounds.
But
So
who did it? Was it Rocky? I can't remember.
I don't remember who had the fucking dude.
I
That was
don't
fucking a long
remember
time
who
ago.
did it.
What happened?
Somebody replaced the bolts on that check valve, the main valve off of the boiler in main 2, and they put brass nuts on it because they thought it looked prettier, and they had shiny brass nuts on it. But then when
I didn't.
it heated up, it like stripped the bolts and blew the top off of that check valve.
I didn't mess with that shit because I remember you telling me like, "Hey, put on what was supposed to be there."
Right. But
also,
who,
I
Rocky
don't
at
think it was
Shipyard,
me.
who
I don't
was
think
it
it was
that did
me.
it, though?
Rocky was already in our division at that time.
Was he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was
I
it
think it was
Max?
somebody in Maine too.
Was it Max?
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was Max. I don't know.
What I remember about that stuff being in Maine 2 and everything was like, I remember you fooled me with the sea chest thing, right?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking pirates, like Army mateys a sea chest, right? A treasure chest or something like that. But I, that was just me being me. But
Right.
when it came to like doing stuff right, I did not want to fuck anything up because I did not want anyone to get fucking killed or hurt.
I remember who sent you for that, and it wasn't me.
It was you.
Nope, it wasn't me. I was involved with it because you came and asked me where it was at.
Maybe it was some other motherfucker. I don't remember who it was.
It was our officer. What's his name? The black guy. Shoot.
Oh, Haynes.
Haynes. It was Haynes that sent you. You were in Central. He sent you, and you came down and asked me. And I told you I think it was in Main 1, and then sent you on another wild goose chase off to like Main 1.
Yeah, but I remember something had happened, and I remember at the same time that me and Gilly got there, someone put a fucking piece of gum on a fucking pipe and covered it with tape where there was lube oil leak in Main 2.
What?
That happened.
Because Sima would not fix it. I don't know if it was Sima at the time.
Yep.
You remember that shit? And then we got fucking our asses to us back in fucking DC.
I remember in Main 1, I was in Main 1 temporary for like a couple weeks. And they actually, on the CRP, I think it was on the high pressure side, they had a small pin leak. And we actually put epoxy on it, the epoxy putty, and it actually worked.
Yeah.
For that
Someone
high pressure.
We've used epoxy. Yes, we've used that quite a bit when
in
we was
Main
in Japan,
2,
too.
though, in Main 2, bro, someone put a fucking gum that they chewed and they covered it with fucking tape. And then they painted it terracotta because it was a terracotta colored fucking pipe. And then later on, when we went to Everett, that shit fucking got found out.
Yeah, when we went through we had to go through workups and shit.
Yeah, it got found out during that time, and that's
It
when
was probably painted because it was forgotten, and we just
Yeah.
painted over it.
And you know what? I don't know if it was a GSM or somebody like that. I think it was a Japanese guy in a fucking white suit. Remember they had the white chemical suits at the time?
Well, they came in and
Someone
replaced
did
all
that,
of our
and I was
glass.
there, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I looked at it and was like, "What the hell are they doing?"
It
But I
might have
guess
been
that works, okay,
It might have been that time in the yards in Japan where they replaced all the lagging on all the boiler and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Do you remember the paint fight that me and fucking Gilly had?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was more than one.
Oh, dude, like if we could make a fucking movie or a TV show out of that, people would be laughing their asses off.
It wouldn't have been a movie. It'd be a TV show, 30-minute show.
But it would be immortalized. It'd be like, this is one of the funniest fucking moments in the fucking world. It would have been classic, man. I mean,
That's also all baby faced and shit back then.
Yeah, like it was so weird. Like I was telling you about that day when you first came on board, and I was changing the coalescer filters.
Yep.
And it was just crazy because the Filipino guy, I can never remember his name, but he was with Bill at the same time in Grijalva. And when I first reported on board, he was changing him as he was smoking a cigarette. And then when you come on board, I'm changing him. And then I think I was even smoking a cigarette probably.
Down in the engine room?
Yeah.
You know,
We
that
used to
is
do that
true
all the
because
time.
you motherfuckers did smoke down there.
Yep. So we would smoke mainly like right at the exhaust fans when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
So,
because it would suck it up. I remember
yeah,
that.
you would just take like somebody would come, you would just go whoop, and it was gone.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was out the
It
stack.
stuck the whole cigarette up right through.
Yep. It was just doing. It was gone. And you could see him in the hole, in the porthole right there in the door. And then you could tell, remember how we used to set negative? So
Oh, yeah.
if somebody opened up that door, you knew somebody had
Pop
come
your
in.
ears.
Shit, I did that a lot on fucking bed watch if I wanted to take a nap. Sitting
Oh,
there,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, you
I know
be
where you
sleeping
learned
and all
it
of a sudden your ears
Oh,
pop
you told
and
me
you're
that.
like, oh fuck, somebody's coming.
Yeah, I knew where you learned it from.
I know, you showed me that. You know, fuck yeah. Because I'd be asleep right there by the fucking, on the boiler flat right by the fucking water cooler, right? It's fucking, because it's going to pop your ears right then and there. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'll get up, act like I'm wiping something or checking the gauges on the boiler and shit. Like, I'm doing so good.
Well, and most people, when they first walked in, they would kind of go down. They probably wouldn't go into the boiler room usually straight away. So,
The boiler flats was the best spot to fucking sleep in my opinion, especially when it was cold
warm.
iron. Especially in cold iron when it was hot outside, right? Behind the boiler, right in that little area.
Yep.
Because that was a good hide spot right there. A lot of people didn't know about. You know,
Oh, yeah.
or they didn't think to look. You know.
Well, you could even go on the back side of the boiler, and the only people who would ever know would be guys coming to take a sample.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that one sample port was there on that back side.
Yep.
I used to like to sleep on top of the main engines in main one.
I did too.
Because dude, it was warm, it vibrated, like
Yeah.
And May too. One time we had hammocks over the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and it was the hammocks was on that fucking I-beam that I hit my head on.
Yeah. You know, so if the boat was rocking underway, right? Just the rocking sleep like a little baby.
Oh, you remember those 42 to 45 degree rolls we did?
Oh yeah.
And then we were like spraying furniture polish in the berthing floor, and then everybody was sliding up and hitting the clothes locker on the one side, and you slide all the way to the other side.
Dude, I remember walking on the fucking bulkheads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then the ladder wells in the engine room, the ones that went, from port to starboard, how you'd walk on the edge of them flat, and then if you didn't make it all the way, you were hanging from the fucking handrail feet on.
I remember standing at the bottom of a forward pump room and then jumping and making it all the way to the top. Because the ship would come down, so you jump and the ship comes down, so then you go all the way up to the top. And then you got to hold on, because if you don't hold on tight, you're falling all the way the fuck down.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was a good time.
Old John Peck said, hello, everybody.
Yeah, I said, what's up to him? What's up, bro?
Yeah, he ended up making W5.
Panic?
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Chief Warrant Officer fucking 5?
Yeah.
Dude, he will never have to work again. That's awesome.
Baby.
Well, technically,
I got my T
CW2 to CW5, he didn't have to work.
No, dude. You know what I wanted to do? I went for LDO.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, baby.
Look, I'll tell you a story. I went for LDO. But the time I went for LDO and I was the best qualified to become an LDO, I had too much time in the Navy, and they came up with a message the fucking year I did it saying we're not going to accept everyone that has this time in the Navy. It's going to be less. I was so fucking mad. That was in 2012 or 2013.
Damn.
And then the next year I made 20, I made chief in 2014, which was fiscal year 15. I was so goddamn fucking mad. At that time I was ready, like, dude, if they had the 15-year retirement thing, I was going to get the fuck out and fuck the Navy.
See, I
Because
got
you
out
know
in
what? I
2012.
did everything I fucking could without kissing anybody's fucking ass and sucking up to them. I wanted to get promoted on my fucking what is it called? Merit.
Right.
You get promoted on how good you do, how good of a leader you are, how good you are at teaching people to take over your job, right? If you die or whatever. And so I made chief in 2014. And of course, it got political because who the fuck was in fucking office that year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obama.
And it became, and the year before, and that, I think that same year, the year before, they had the stupid rainbow shit on the fucking White House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I was
see,
like,
there's the old Rocky coming out. Fuck the Navy, just like he
Yeah.
did
yeah.
on the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's like, you know what? Why the fuck do people get shit when they don't fucking earn it?
That was Rocky when he was a fucking fireman apprentice. Fuck the
I
Navy.
know. Fuck the
Yeah, yeah,
Navy.
The
yeah.
whole
I mean,
time.
dude, I am the same fucking goddamn motherfucker still.
That's
I
why.
still am. I'm not going to change. I'm going to be who the fuck I am. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. You can die. Go to hell. Anyways, you know, I wanted to look up to people that did the right thing. I didn't want to fucking follow someone that, well, I got this person in trouble, I got that person in trouble, and I made that person look bad, so that's why I made chief.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I saw that as an MA.
I
I saw
saw
it as
that.
an MA2, and I saw it as an MA1, and I saw it as an MA3. And then when I became an MAC, I saw the same fucking thing. So you think I got along with a lot of the MACs?
Probably
No. No, no, because I saw right through them, and I would tell them you're fucking fucked up. And what was fucking funny was when I was in Seal Beach and I was a chief, I'd tell them, you know what? The shit I'm complaining about right now, another chief would say, that's what Rocky said about 2 months ago, and now you're complaining about it? You're fucking stupid. And I'd say, you're lucky I'm not allowed to beat the fucking shit out of you, dude, because I'm gonna fucking slam your head through this fucking bomb-proof glass and slide your fucking throat over the fucking glass. You can bleed to death. Go fuck yourself. I've always been a violent guy. That's just who I am, right? Talking does not work. Violence works. That's why we won World War II. But anyways, I'm sorry. I went off on a rant, but I don't believe in peace talks because talking does not work. Action speaks louder than words. And
Hence
it
the carrier
always
strike
will.
group.
Now
Huh?
we got the name of the episode right now. FFA, Free for All, and Rocky's Rants Part 2.
It'll be like part infinity later. Like that guy on fucking TikTok that goes, shit's getting weird, part infinity. I don't know how many he did, but
Well, at least this time your rant's not about women again. Same thing like you did last time. At least it's a
Right.
different rant.
well, that's because I hate feminism and I think feminism ruined everything.
God damn it. There it goes.
I don't care. I don't care. I love women, but I don't like the way they fucking operate. And
Rocky,
you can,
Rocky, when it comes to the women rants, right? We're gonna have to come up with a new way to do the rants.
I know. Maybe I'll dress up like a fucking the plague doctor and I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll get a plague doctor suit and I'll talk about it that way.
Hey, who was the blonde kid that went to the oil side? I'm so bad with names.
I mean, Donnan,
Donnan went the oil side. He was a main one. They went the oil side.
he was blonde as fuck.
That's the one what I remember that was blonde that went oil side.
He was
Yeah.
he was a little bit chunky. He was there with Steve
Oh, no. You're fucking Davis.
Davis.
Oh,
Yeah.
Davis?
That's before Donnan got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
Oh, they'll probably suck a cock somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the motherfucker was gay, but he acted like he was,
Kind of seemed like it.
Yeah, so
Well, we had a couple gay people on board. Everybody knew it, but it was back then when it was just nobody talked about it.
Yeah,
As long
we
as it
didn't
didn't
give a
bother
fuck.
anybody else.
We didn't care as long as they didn't hit on us. We didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and they were kind of funny to talk to anyway. So
That's like Garcia, DC. You know, he was with us in the edge room for a while. Garcia was with DC.
oh, I remember.
You know, we all thought he was a little fruity. That's why his nickname was Fruity Fruity.
Yeah, Davis. I couldn't remember him. Him and Steven didn't get along very well.
Fish.
Steve with his attitude and him with his like baby face.
Gilly, you gotta mute yourself if you're gonna watch that video.
I'm not gonna watch it right now.
You gotta listen to it. It's hilarious.
I will.
But you gotta if you're gonna watch it on the podcast, you gotta mute your mic.
Fuck that. Watch this, bitches.
Are you gonna
Yeah.
put it on there? It's hilarious.
Eli.
Is it?
Eli, right? Garcia?
Oh, fuck, you did. You sent it to the Fifers podcast, not the fucking messenger. God damn it.
You're talking about Eli, right? Eli Garcia?
Yeah, Fruity Fruity.
I don't know what happened to him. I know I remember on Facebook later, I think he got girls, right? He got girls in Japan. But then I think later on he went the other way.
All right, I had to send that.
I don't know.
I send that to myself.
Davis, the only time I never seen him with a girl or even talked to a girl.
You talk about the one the kids go fishing, Thumper?
Yeah.
I've already watched that. Here, I'll play it. Here, fuck it. Let's play it.
Did you watch it? It's hilarious, dude.
Oh, yeah, I've already watched it.
That guy is funny as fuck.
Yeah, I'll share it with y'all. Fuck it. Let me turn the. What the fuck is the sound on this? There we go.
Girls,
I don't know if
please.
you guys have seen this
Now
guy.
you
Oh, that guy's
Make
hilarious.
sure y'all pull it really hard. because
This
it
guy's
might be a
fucking
fish.
funny.
Hey, teacher, I keep catching sticks. I'm not surprised, Kevin. Hey, what's Sasha doing? Do we ever know what Sasha's doing? Hey, look what Sasha caught. She caught something? What is it? Oh, yay. Sasha, put that down.
Oh, kitty.
Sasha, that's not a kitty. Put it down.
Kitty. Okay.
I'm probably going to catch a bass. I'm going to catch a turtle. You literally look like a turtle. Well, at least my grandpa's not in the nursing home. Girls, please. If y'all fill up, make sure y'all pull it really hard.
restarted,
It might be a
Gilly.
fish.
Oh, already started? Okay.
Teacher, I keep catching stick.
There's so many different videos that dude does. It's hilarious.
Did y'all hear it? Okay. So you know how that part works. I had to go get me another beverage, fellas. During that. I already watched it.
I gotta get me another beverage too there, sailors. Oh, Mr. Krabs has to go for a couple of minutes. I'll be right back and don't end it before I come back.
Oh, he
I'll
goes
end it now.
No.
So did you see that Pennick he actually messaged back and said that he had gotten in trouble also?
Oh, yeah.
What did he get in trouble for?
He said Fife had a lot of ass clowns at that level. He said he loved Japan. Yep, Everett. But he said, hey, or W5, I also got in trouble a couple times. Ha ha.
I almost missed Ship's movement one time. That's for sure.
Yep, me too. Almost
You're
one
never-
time in Thailand.
You're never, ever a true sailor until you go to bass. At least once.
Oh, trust me, I got threatened. I had to go to DRB.
DRB's nothing. Dude, fuck DRB. Every time, both times I went, I skipped DRB, XOI, went straight to the old man. Both times.
You know
Straight.
what, though? I did DRB, and that was as close as I wanted to get because so there was another time on the Fife, though, because the DRB was when I was a recruiter. But the time before that was when fuck, what was his name? It was a lockout tagout issue. 3M. He fucking operated a system that was tagged out, and they fucking blamed me for it at first, and had me go in front of the chief engineer, the Chang. He was sitting on the EOW chair, told me I would be the poorest motherfucker in the Navy, and I told him what happened, and then he had me go get fuck, what was his name? Filipino. Had me go get him and tell him to, huh?
Rungdoon?
Yes, Rungdoon. Told me to tell Rungdoon to get in his fucking dress blues because he was going to captain's mass that day. And I went and found Rungdoon, and I was like, hey, chief engineer said you need to get in your dress blues. You're going to captain's mass. And he's like, for what? I go, because you fucking operated the system with the fucking red tags and you blame me for it. I was like, so I ended up having to go to fucking XOI and captain's mass with him as a witness, luckily, because it was a steam system that was fucking tagged out, and they fired off a fucking boiler with the fucking tags on it, and there was a fucking valve missing in the system. The valve was
that was in main one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was not good.
But
and,
that was good.
But Hodges, just going as a witness, right? Not the same. Until you're standing in front of the old man, it's not the same.
But I'll tell you what, when you're standing in front of the Chang as a fucking junior sailor, and he's like, you're going to be the poorest motherfucker in this Navy because of this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just got here. I don't even know what you're talking about. What the fuck happened? Like, I had no clue. I was literally off the ship when it happened. And then I get on board and they're like, the Chang wants to see you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know what it was about. And nobody told me. Nobody gave me a heads up or anything. I walked down to CCS, dude. I undogged the door and I stepped through. I got 1 foot through and he was just tearing into me. And I'm like, holy shit. So I get in there. I dog the door down. I go in front of him. He's like, get out of fucking attention when I'm talking to you. I mean, he tore into me. And I'm like, what is this about, sir? Like, I have no clue. I just got to the ship. I was in civilian clothes still. And that's when he told me, I go, I tagged that out and it was second signed and everything. And he's like, well, why the fuck did this happen? And I'm like, I have no clue, sir. When did it happen? Like, I've been gone, you know. After we got cut loose for the night, the day before, I was gone. Like, and then we figured out, and it was Rungdoon that did it. And he's like, go get that motherfucker and tell him to get in his blues. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I did, and then he's like, you're going to fucking mass with him. And I'm like, wait, am I in trouble or am I going? Why am I going? And he's like, no, you're gonna explain the situation. And I'm like, okay.
But you're not in that little 1% club of captain masses.
What?
I'll take it. With Max. I had the same thing happen with Max.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to lock out Gen 3, and we had some oil lines on there that I needed to change out. So it was leaking really bad then. And those damn AN fittings freaking suck sometimes. So he went and locked it out, and I can't remember who second signed it, but it was all done, right? I go and I open the module door up, and I looked, and all the tags were hanging. And I go in there, and I take the first line off, and then all of a sudden, it called to fucking start it. So it started with me holding onto the fucking oil line.
Oh,
I was like, this fucking thing is tagged out. I hit the e-stop on it, and I was like, son of a bitch, I just fucking wiped my eardrums out being inside the module when it fucking fired up, holding onto the fucking hose. But, you know,
I'm just glad
the fuel valve would shut. Well, he didn't, because even if you shut it, you had to trip it shut. So he didn't do that. And then he didn't turn the switch to off. He just hung the tags on the shit and never put it in the position. And I didn't think nothing of it. I just seen the tags hanging. It had already been second signed, and I went in to do the shit, and then bang, it goes to fire up. And it was just a circumstance of, I think the main one or Gen 1 went down, so then it went to automatically fire 3 up. And, you know, it was just one of those perfect storms.
Because it was left in automatic mode. That's why you always double check. After that, I double checked. Even if I was not the one second side or hanging them, If I was working on it, I'd double check to make sure that motherfucker anything was right.
Oh yeah.
After that.
When
that shit was crazy. And then I had to go to DRB as a recruiter, and that was a whole nother fucking fucked up situation. I was accused of trying to hit on one of my recruits.
Well, you probably was.
No,
You
I
was
not.
You old fucking hound dog.
I was not. And the thing is so the phone was a government issued phone. They don't need a warrant for those phones. They can pull the phone records off of those at any given time through Verizon. I handed that shit over. I said, here, go through it, please. Like, I don't want to fucking lose rank over some bullshit. So I fucking handed it to him. The fucking, man, I'll tell you what, man, the Chiefs and stuff there, the dude that went into DRB before me, because I was up there for first line leadership school. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Going into E6, right? And I was up there for first line leadership school, and I'm standing there outside the Chiefs mess, and there's another first class standing next to me. He goes in, I'm standing out there. All I hear is yelling, and I'm like, what in the fuck? He comes out, he's fucking bawling, he's crying, and then they call me in, and they're like, where's your government cell phone, Petty Officer Hodges? And I'm like, here you go. Here it is. And I'm like, I tossed it on the table for them. They go through it. They didn't see anything. They made a phone call. Somebody was already looking at my phone records, I guess. And then they were like, yeah, nothing. There's nothing. And they're like, Petty Officer Hodges, if we catch you doing this, it's your ass and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be, I'm like, look, I didn't do shit, you know? And I was told afterwards by the senior chief and the command master chief of NRD Minneapolis that if you're a good recruiter, you get a divorce or you go to mass for possibly messing around with one of your recruits. And I go, well, I've already gotten the divorce because of it. And now here I am at DRB. So I must be a really good fucking recruiter. And you know what's funny is every month I hit my goal +2, which put me #1 in the fucking district for like 6 months straight.
Dude, that sounds like fucking Chief Turmo, dude.
yeah.
It sounds like Chief Turmo, man.
You remember
That's fucking funny, man.
So do you remember what's his name? He was an EN in Aux 1. What's his name? Not
white guy, black guy, what?
White guy.
No, that was fucking Wilson.
Ian, you remember him?
Yeah.
He was a recruiter. So he was a recruiter for NRD Minneapolis also. I ran into him at the same time, right before I went to mass at a fucking not mass, but DRB.
Get it right. Can't say mass was DRB, goddamn. Come on now.
Yeah. Right before I went to DRB, it was a Christmas command Christmas party. I ran into him and Wilson in Braswell and at the command, and then I ended up going to DRB right afterwards, and I'm like, you're fucking bad omen.
Jamie Braswell?
Yeah.
Don and Jamie they was married.
Yeah, they got married.
What Wilson did, right? Wilson married her.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a good dude, man. I don't know whatever happened to him though.
You know who else I wonder about is Richardson and what was his name? The other cook.
Oh, I on my Facebook.
Pirates.
Yeah. Because Little was fucking around with them. And when I lived with them, I don't know if you remember, I lived with those two over on Casino Road. Yeah.
The one thing Little had going for her was she had some big old titties.
Yeah, the big ass
going for her.
They weren't little for sure.
That's the only big thing she had going for her. But yeah, I had Rich on my Facebook for a while till Trump ran for office. I started posting, Trump loving shit. Next thing I know, and Fridge Zesson and Rich. I'm like, really? This motherfucker unfriended me. What the fuck?
They were
Who unfriended you?
Rich.
Rich?
Yeah,
Rich.
Fucking the CS, Rich?
No, MS.
MS.
Yeah, MS.
Richard, well, yeah, I guess it's CS now, but back then it's MS. Always will be MS to me.
Really, dude? He fucking unfriended you?
Yeah.
Dude, those guys were there when I met my first wife when I was banging her in the bedroom. I got fucking I got pictures of me with like 30 packs of Red Dog stacked up in my room and Playboys everywhere and shit at the apartment that me, him, and Pirates had. That shit was fucking nuts, dude.
I think
Dude, do you still
Pirates.
talk to Pirates? How's he doing?
I haven't. I haven't.
I got him
don't
on
even
Facebook,
know-
but he's not on Facebook very often. I think he's back home in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania, somewhere right now.
Oh, you know, he may not even be on Facebook because I just looked him up. He was on My Friends too, and he's not there.
Oh, Pirates ain't?
Hey, Chris. Chris, I got a
Rich
question.
ain't?
I got a question. How the fuck do you make the fucking camera zoom in on you? It's like a fucking movie. It's fucking
I
hilarious.
know.
He's just iPad. It follows
This is
him.
an iPad.
Oh, it's fucking good. I love it. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
I told him, dude. I told him the other day. I said, "Man, I'm gonna have to get one of those so I can start my fucking OnlyFans by myself." You know?
Yeah.
What in the fuck are you going to do on OnlyFans, dude?
Show his hairy butthole.
Oh,
Hell
that's
yeah.
gross. But you know
Hey.
what? There's probably a. You know what I thought about doing?
Somebody will
Doing
pay
an
for
OnlyFans and I'm cooking tacos on it.
it.
I can
Hey,
do an
look
only,
at this fucking
Zooms
taco
in.
right here. It's not a vagina. It's a real taco.
I can do an OnlyFans barbecue and butt ass naked.
Oh, don't do that.
With
Don't
a
do
natty
that.
ice in your hand.
Damn right. Hey, I'll have my apron on, right? I'll have my apron on.
You know, Gilly, I think you need. I think
That
you need
shit's stupid, dude.
7
That's
foot woman.
hilarious.
I think
Need
Gilly
what, Chris?
Gilly needs a 7-foot woman. Amazon.
Hey, I dated one girl years ago. It's been what 2008, I think it was. She was 6'7".
What the hell?
She liked the short little white boys, but she liked.
Did she pat you on the top of the head too?
Yeah, she did though. But I'll tell you one thing: she was one hell of a fuck. That bitch was wild.
You didn't even have to squat down to get a lick.
I think that's why she likes short guys. And
That's funny.
because she was half black, half white, right? I only mess with white guys because they like to eat pussy. Black guys don't like to eat pussy.
Jay, I'm gonna tell you this about short guys. From what I've been told, most of the Navy SEALs are short like you and me.
So they're some
They're
taller.
like 5'6", 5'9",
Yeah.
maybe 5'10". They're
Yeah.
all shorter, and they're the baddest motherfuckers that ever lived.
Those motherfuckers in boot camp, right? There was a guy, actually, me and my cousin, same boot camp platoon, right? Division. Didn't know it. He was a long lost cousin of mine, right? We looked identical, except he had darker hair than I did, right? Body build, everything. You know, facial fucking was identical damn near.
What about those ears?
No, that's identical too. But he was taking the go for SEAL, right? That test they do in boot camp, right? And he's like, "Come on with me." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." I was like fucking, I was slow on the swim, right? And those fucking SEAL guys, they're like, "You come back, we'll work with you. We want you." I said, I don't. I said, "I came here to support him." You know, I said, "I don't want to do that. I want to fucking be on the ship, travel the world, and go fuck some whores." You know what? So I didn't care about being a SEAL because I didn't really like water. Because I was not a strong swimmer at all. Of course, I joined the fucking Navy. You know what?
Did you ever do any of the swim calls with us?
Fuck no.
That's what I was thinking. I think you were always on watch or volunteered to be on watch.
I did too. I did.
I
Because
remember Rocky jumping in, I think.
you know, we've talked about this before, right? We got there's sharks out there, guys on the ribs, right? They're not there to shoot the sharks. They're there to shoot you if they bite you. That's what they're there for.
You're out of your misery, so you could be the bait for all the rest of everybody else.
Yep. Fuck that.
Yeah, I remember swimming over the Marianas Trench a couple times.
Yeah. I was like, nope. The calf's like, "Come on, Gilly, come with me." I said, "Fuck you, motherfucker." But he's like a fucking dolphin in the water. That motherfucker loves the water.
Yeah, he used to dive off the deck, like face first or head first.
Yep. Fuck that shit. I ain't doing that. Nope.
I'd go feet first, but I never went head first.
Hey, I'll stand in somebody's watch. I don't give a fuck. You know, don't matter to me.
Yeah.
You know. But I just got a text
Supposedly, I got some
message.
storms headed my way.
Well, I got my text message by Alpha Gale St. Pig will be here Thursday.
I was gonna say, did you let them know about that?
I haven't said nothing about that yet. So
I told Gilly I said, if he wants to get a whole hog, I'll go get it and bring it to him, or I'll pick him up and we'll go pick it up. Make it a fucking road trip.
Yeah, but this one's shipping. This one ain't shipping from Tennessee. It's shipped from the farm in North Carolina.
I mean, we can go there too. I don't care. I'll come pick you up. We'll fucking drive there. I don't
Well,
give a fuck.
if it's North Carolina, Rocky just needs to put it in the taco truck and drive up.
Load that motherfucker in the back.
Guys, come to North Carolina. I'm going to give you some motherfucking tacos.
Yeah, but
Like
it'd be Gilly's luck that fucking whole hog that he picks that shit up, puts it in there, it mixes with, like, it touches where real pig touches, like the one with the gene, and then he fucking gets sick when he eats that shit.
No. Here's what'll happen. Heidi and I will make him a set of tacos that are not fucking contaminated.
Well, I'm talking about going to pick up a whole fucking hog for him.
Well, see, the thing
That's
is,
fine. We can make carnitas, dude. I'll make carnitas. I'll make it like
Hodges,
barbacoa, and I'll make it like fucking birria too.
Hell yeah.
See, Hodges, the thing is, that place where I get my evening officers that sell these, right? They are required by law to test every one of them just to make sure.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if Rocky picks it up in the taco truck,
oh yeah, I got you.
It's gonna touch all the surfaces that actual like non-safe pork touches.
Gotcha.
Had people come to me that have these problems, and what my wife will do is like, hey babe, I'll be like, hey babe, we got to clean this because they got Afagale or they can't do gluten or whatever, right? She'll clean everything off. We'll tell everyone else that's waiting for food, say, hey, we're going to cook your food after we cook their food. We cook their food, and they eat it in front of us to make sure they're okay and they're good.
Well, to see,
we have
Rocky
customers because of that, because I want to make sure that I can accommodate everything that I can do possibly.
Yeah, but the thing is, what the Alpha-Gal is, there's only a very small percentage of people that react right then and there. The rest, most of them, it's 8-10 hours later when it happens.
It's delayed. Yeah, it's delayed.
That's why it's so hard to diagnose. Why doctors like, what the fuck? I was thinking it was medicine all these years. Well, medicine, some of it does have animal products in it, you know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, my mind all night I drip the fucking pulled pork all night, you know, and my mind's been going fucking overload nonstop, thinking I got my original recipes I always made. I was like, no, do I want that? I could try this. I could, you know.
We could throw that. We could go. Let's go get you a hog. We'll come back to my place and throw it on the fucking open pit. We'll do a whole fucking hog on that motherfucker now.
We can take my fucking truck.
I got the Explorer. We'll just throw it in the back of the Explorer. It ain't gonna matter. It'll fit. I'm down, dude. I ain't got nothing else better to do.
We'll put it in the back seat of the Mustang and make it a quick trip.
Just got to sit it up, man. You might even get the fucking POV lane.
Oh yeah.
Well, I would have to ride in the back with it, so
you'd be hugging it.
I'll be like, oh,
hey, Gilly, there's no money on it, buddy. There's no money on it. You just stop.
I know. But like a day, my mom was taking me to the VA day, Columbia, right?
See Gilly sticking his tongue out at it.
I said, Mom, if you see a video of me on Facebook when I get that ham in, you know, when I make the pulled ham, I said, just ignore that video because I'm gonna be probably like making sweet love to that son of a bitch. Right? Act like call it Bitch Piggy. Call it Bitch Piggy, right? Rub it down, right? And slap it on that like you do a girl slapping ass, right? You know, Mom goes, you won't put that on Facebook. I said, you never know what I'll do. You know,
it's gonna have a hole about that big in it.
Yeah, but I'm checking the website every day since payday, right? Because in April they got another shipment coming in, right? Like the shoulder and all that shit, right? Then that's what I'm waiting for because it sells out quick. You know, as soon as it gets on, boom, people snatch it up quick on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm planning on ordering $400 or $500 this month just on that alone. You know,
hey, on the food truck stuff, my landlord, he started a business building food trucks and trailers. So he's had me come in and help him teach some of his guys welding stuff up and
you know what?
countertop.
You know what I love about this stuff? You know what I like most about food truck stuff?
What?
It's honest fucking work. I'm not robbing anybody. I'm not cheating anybody. I'm not lying to anyone. It's fucking honest.
And you're your own boss too. Your own boss.
Huh?
And you're your own boss too.
I'm
his wife is the boss.
I run everything.
Yes, you
I
do. The deep
direct
power
everything.
does.
I'm like the CEO of the ship, dude. I'm the CEO of the boat.
Well, we can all come and work for you for a day and see if we can make it to Mass.
What?
Well, I'll come work for you for a day, and then we'll see.
I've taken my kids to Captain's Mass. It's called Daddy Mass.
I'm not going to fucking Daddy Mass. That's bullshit.
You can just spank my.
Like, you got to understand, like, after 24 years in the fucking Navy, man, dealing with fucking stupid people, stupid fucking ulterior motives, because everyone's got a fucking ulterior motive. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I realized that at the age of 19 on the fucking fight. I was like, you know, if I ever do my own thing, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And I really did stick with honor, courage, and commitment, right? I took to those fucking core values, and I was like, honor, fucking courage, and fucking commitment. I'm going to do everything right. I'm not going to cheat anybody. I'm not going to lie to anybody or anything like that, because I hated when people did that to me.
Oh, yeah. When you didn't have to.
Yeah. They
That's
did
the
it
part I
just
don't
because
get.
they did it. Like, I remember, dude, I had a chief in Gitmo, and they knew how when I was coming in, because my keys sounded a certain way, right? And I said, hey, chief, stop fucking lying to me. I know you're lying to me because you're blinking every other fucking syllable. He's like, I'm not lying to you. I'm a chief petty officer. I said, then fucking stop blinking and stop fucking lying to me. That's the kind of person I became after that. I was like, fuck you. Don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah, you didn't ever have to.
Hey, Chris, here's how much that Alpha Gale safe fucking pig cost on a ham for a 15-pound ham right here.
Whew, so expensive.
2 minutes, boys.
$9.50 a pound.
For $15 for 15 pound, $144 without shipping.
Holy pig.
So it's not cheap, because since it's a specialty item, right? Since they have to take that gene out, that alpha gal molecule out, that sugar molecule out, and the supply is not there, because now if they ever get the supply up, right, like regular hogs is, it'd be cheap.
But they're not doing it because it really doesn't appeal to them to make that sale.
But if they would make that mandatory, right, in the regular hog business, right, especially in commercial shit, right, and they could make money off that shit, because it's the same fucking hog, just without that one fucking that molecule, that gene in it,
right?
But yeah, I mean, and I bought also like the Alpha Gale kitchen, right? Dude, there's people fucking eating the hell out of that shit, man. They got jowl, everything. I love jowl. To me, that's better. To me, that's the best bacon of the fucking pig right there. It's the jowl meat right there. But I'm hoping it's not too lean, because I want that bitch to make some fucking grease.
Right. You get used to that, and that's the good part with the taste.
I see. That's like I've always told people that have Alpha Gale, if you can afford it, get the duck sausage for your replacement for pork sausage, because it has that grease level in it.
Yeah.
Versus turkey sausage. Like if you want to use the ground, make turkey sausage, right? For your
I can't stand
gravy.
the taste of the turkey anyway.
But you got to put fucking butter in there or oil in there to make the roux.
Dry.
Yeah, to make the roux on it. But duck is the best thing for substitute on it. But yeah,
and it doesn't have a bad taste either. I just don't like the turkey.
Yeah.
Any of the turkey. Well, I like turkey, but I don't like any of the ground turkey. For some reason,
I use the ground turkey, but I get the plain shit, right? I put my own fucking spices in it.
That might make it taste better.
Oh yeah, if you get the plain shit with nothing else added to it, then you add your own. That's the way to go, right there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I wish it was more affordable for people for that has the alpha because not too many people. I mean, there's some out there can afford, but a whole lot that I know can't afford that shit, and that's the bad thing.
Right.
Because like when you have to stop eating red meat altogether, you become B12. It was it efficient, right?
Deficient where you're no
Efficient, yes.
B6, B12.
And those vegan supplements for B12, right, does not help it go up any at all.
Well, what about like rock stars and monsters and some of the energy drinks that have the B6 and B12? Can you drink those?
I can't do caffeine no more because I have nerve damage and it fucks with my nerves.
Well, there's some of them that just use the B6 and B12. They don't have caffeine.
But I never liked those energy drinks. See, Red Bull grew up in Australia. On that in 2000, Red Bull and vodka.
Oh yeah,
that rubbed me on energy drinks right there.
Yeah, that was like everywhere when we went in 2000.
Yeah, and it was like back home, came back home, right? Yes. And I was asking, I was at the bar back here in Missouri, right? I was like, hey, give me Red Bull and vodka. They're like, what's that? So what the fuck? I forget. Stateside is usually about a year behind, or two behind everybody sometimes.
Now you can go to like any coffee stand and get these foo-foo drinks with Red Bull in them and energy drinks, like Italian sodas, but they put energy drinks in them.
So I had to stop drinking Red Bull in 2004. I ended up getting what they call supraventricular tachycardia. Yep. It's where my heart rate would actually speed up. I'd be relaxing and my heart rate would shoot up to over 200 beats a minute. And the only way to stop it is to either use a drug called adenosine or be shocked. And the adenosine actually has to go in your AC, your vein here in your arm or higher on the left side of your body because it has a 6-second half-life. So it's half as strong after 6 seconds as it is. It's crazy. And it actually stops your heart. And then your heart restarts on its own. And in 2004, I had to be defibrillated. I had to be cardioverted, it's called, 6 different times in order to get my heart back into a regular rhythm. And I will tell you, I will never drink a Red Bull again.
Yeah. I have energy drinks every once in a while, but I'm scared of them where I had my Widowmaker. So I'm scared to drink that stuff, but every once in a while I might grab one.
I have to take a Tenolol every day, which is a beta blocker to keep my heart in a regular rhym. For the longest time up until
my mother takes that for the same thing. She has that too, where hers goes both ways though. So hers will go up to that where you're like an AFib because your heart's beating so fast it's not pumping anymore, and then she'll go down to bottom out and her heart rate will be like in the 40s or 50s.
So yeah, AFib is different than supraventricular tachycardia. So AFib is where you're getting fibrillations and it's actually just kind of not being effective as far as pumping goes and squeezing. It's not a controlled squeeze.
Right.
Where mine, it just goes so freaking fast, it can't build pressure and refill the chambers of the heart. So the beta blocker, though, is supposed to help with the electrical current in the heart and allow it to contract and fill every time. And it sucks. I'll tell you what, when I got cardioverted, they didn't give me conscious sedation. I didn't get Versed. I didn't get any pain meds, nothing. It was I was on active duty. I was down in Mayport, Florida, and I presented with left arm pain, and the fire department on base fucking defibrillated me or cardioverted me 3 times on the way to the hospital, and then the hospital did it another 3 times. It was not fun. It feels like you're getting fucking sledgehammer in the chest. It was brutal. And so I don't know, last year, I started having that a lot where I almost passed out on the floor, and I almost had to have my now soon to be ex-wife call 911 because I wasn't going to make it. But luckily, I vagaled enough to slow my heart down, you know. But yeah, it's bad, dude. I won't ever drink a Red Bull again.
Yeah. Where I had my, I guess a lot of people, even doing the work I do now, everybody's trained and we have first aid all over. And I mean, we're pretty well trained because sometimes there's only you out on site and maybe one other person. So, and we're miles from help sometimes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
learn
that's
all
why.
these
Yep.
things and all this training about heart attack symptoms and signs and stuff like that. And then that made me think just now when I had my Widowmaker, knowing all of these things, I didn't have any of those symptoms when I had it.
Yep.
And my symptoms were only between my shoulder blades. It felt kind of tight.
Yep.
It wasn't like painful. It was just, it kind of felt like you had worked on a workbench all day, kind of slumped
Yep.
over, that feeling you get where your upper back is just a little tight, the muscles.
Tight. Yep. Yep.
I felt like I had gas and I couldn't burp. And right below my rib cage, right here, right under my sternum, that's where it was like pressure, like you had gas, and I kept trying to burp and it wouldn't relieve it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, all right, well, I need some Tums if this is like heartburn. And like, it really doesn't feel like heartburn. It's just like a pressure there. So my wife, she's a CNA. She's like, well, you need to go to the doctor. And I'm like, well, we're just going to bed. Maybe I'll go in the morning. She's like, no, you need to go now. So she doesn't drive. So I drove 30 minutes to the emergency room. And when I got there, I almost passed out getting out of the car. I make my way inside, when I was getting out of the car, I was like, I can't walk. You need to have them come bring a fucking wheelchair because I felt like I was going to pass out.
Yeah.
They wheeled me in there and they said, oh, you're just having a panic attack. You don't have any signs of having a heart attack. And, I'm like, okay, if you know me very well, I don't panic. So I'm pretty calm when shit goes down. So they get me back to the back and they're starting to run EKG and everything's still kind of looking good. And they ran my first, the blood test, and they said it was maybe a hair elevated, but nothing really, triggered. And so then the doctor came in and gave me nitro. Said, here, put this on your tongue. Put it under the tongue. Before it finished dissolving, I went, oh, that feels so much better. And then everybody was like, oh, shit. And then they started drawing more blood and hooked up an EKG again. And they're like, holy shit. And then they're like, oh, we can't do cardiac stuff here. We got to send you off. Do you want to take a helo or do you want to go for a 30-minute ride in an ambulance? And I was like, well, I'll just do the 30-minute ride in an ambulance because I want my family to be able to come.
Yep.
So then when I get to the hospital, because they're really not telling me anything, and they do the where they put the shit and do the CT scan and put the shit in your body,
the dye,
nuclear dye or whatever.
Yep.
They're like, oh, you have like a 99.5% blockage on this one, and I think another one was like a 95%.
Did they say it was your LAD?
It's the front vessel or the front vessels on the heart. That's why they call it the Widowmaker. You don't get symptoms.
Yep, that's your LA. That's your LAD. That's the one that services the left side of your heart that pumps out to your body.
And that's why they call it a Widowmaker, because if you don't notice those symptoms, you just die. You just fall out and die.
So crazy thing is I was a paramedic for 6 years. And so I had to recognize that kind of stuff when people told me. I would do the 12 lead EKGs. I would do the right-sided EKGs because some people don't have heart attacks on the left side of their heart. They actually have it on the right side of their heart. And that's actually in order to know which side of the heart you're having a heart attack, you have to know to look. And a lot of paramedics forget about the right side of the heart. And yeah, so when it comes to like symptoms of heart attacks, men and women have it differently, and even men have it different than other men, and women have it. A lot of women get jaw pain during a heart attack.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Some guys, especially when it's their LAD, which is the main artery that feeds the left side of the heart, that's between the shoulder blades. And like you said, it almost feels like a lot of them describe, I either feel like I have diarrhea or my stomach like I have acid reflux or I have to throw up.
Yeah.
It's one of those three plus the pain in between the shoulder blades. That's normally the LAD instant, like, oh my God, this sucks. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But It's not like I'm in excruciating pain and I'm going to cry.
It's not at all.
No. And so that's what throws people off, is because they think that, fuck, I pulled a muscle or something, and now it's messing up here, and I either have to shit really bad or I have to throw up or I've got acid reflux or something going on. And then all of a sudden they're done. They're gone, and there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. It won't bring it back. And then so when they did that, or when I got there, they're like, all right, well, we set you up for the cath lab, to do the blockages or whatever. You're just going to have to hang out until the morning overnight, and they're just going to monitor me. And because I'm doing okay, because they put the patch on me for the nitro, and I see I'm doing okay. And it said I wasn't allowed to get out of bed and stuff. And like, I can't do that shit. So I'm up walking around, and I walk outside into the hallway. And I guess my doctor, who I'd never met before, but he knew the room that I came out of. And I guess he came see me while I was napping or something. And he's like, get the fuck back in that bed. You're so close to fucking death. And I'm like, it was freaking me the fuck out. I feel normal because I'm on the nitro. So it's 12 vessels up enough to where I'm feeling good. I'm like, you're getting
blood flow. It dilates those vessels, so you're getting blood flow past the clot. But the problem is if the clot that you have, if you throw that, now you have a whole nother issue. You could have a stroke. It could go to your brain, or it could block the valve in your heart. So there's all kinds of stuff, and we could actually spend a whole episode on medical stuff like that I could teach people, because there's been a lot of people. It's weird because, like, do you ever remember Ian 3 Short?
Yes.
Okay, so he died after I left the ship. And I don't know why, I don't know how, or I couldn't get any information. I just got a call when I left the ship. Ian 1 or GSM 1 Roan, he had called me in 2003, I think it was, and said that he had died on the table in the hospital. And I don't know why, but there's a lot of service members with heart problems and other health problems, and with everything I've been through, I'm very aware of heart and health and stuff, plus being a paramedic and a medical examiner investigator. I investigated deaths and everything else. There's a lot that I could teach you on.
I just wanted to make more of people aware of the symptoms and actually how serious it is, because you don't feel that it's that serious at the time.
100%.
And that's why it's only like a 4% survival rate. I know it's gone up now. I think it's up to like maybe 15% survival.
It's still not a lot.
It's
like
up, a lot.
It's like
up
AAA.
Everybody's different on that. See, I had one guy I worked with at the power plant, right? He had no symptoms at all. Then he went in for a checkup, right, one day. They said, you're going to emergency right fucking now, because they drew his blood. And he's like,
troponin was probably through the roof.
And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, they took a picture of his heart, right? They're like, how the fuck are you still alive? You should be dead.
So, like, anybody watching this,
because his shit was brand.
Sure to know that the symptoms that you feel yourself, aren't that. It doesn't. I'm not thinking I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah. See, like his shit branched off. It started making like new pathways.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, that can happen too. Not to everybody, but it's like when I had fucking, see, this is what I found out. I had neck, class disc and neck, right? I did not know. I didn't know if I was having a heart attack or what, because I had pain coming down from my neck all the way down through my body on both sides. You know, across the chest, everything. So I went back right to the emergency room, right? They did EKG, blood work, everything was fine. Then it kept happening. I kept going back to the ER. I said, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Figure me out. And then my doctor, my primary care, finally sent me to the cardiologist, you know, to make sure, you know, do the stress test, all that, get the picture of heart right to the stress test, right? After they have you on the jog treadmill, they slam you on the table, take a picture, like,
oh yeah.
And they're like, "You're fine, Jason." You know, they go like, "You got anxiety like a motherfucker, probably." I said, "Well, I probably do," but then they found out I got fucking bad neck too. They said if it's on the right fucking nerve, it will send pain down your body.
Oh yeah, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah, and it's like when I was at the power plant. See, we had to be trained in all that defibrillator, everything. So we was 30 minutes from the hospital, right? Just driving. I mean, our guards were paramedics, you know, because they had to be qualified because you got to have somebody right there that can administer a drug that you needed.
Right. We've got fire stations and stuff, but still, you could be far away from them and take a while to get to you. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. See, like when we had to travel for work, we had to travel at least 2 people, right? We had to have a defibrillator with us at all times, traveling. You know, just in case somebody did have a heart attack. We had one guy, he was still working there, seemed healthy, right? He wouldn't feel good, went to the doctor, right? Collapsed in the doctor's office waiting room, right then and there.
Dang.
You know, and he had no symptoms.
I think we should do a whole episode on health. You know, like how to prevent this stuff, like how to eat and how to take care of yourself, and then the signs and symptoms of different things, because there's so many things that veterans can be affected from heart attacks to strokes to all kinds of shit. And I think that you know, we should do a show about it, because we could actually spend some time on it, and I could actually drill down and actually explain a lot of stuff because of the training I've been through, and then the stuff that I've seen as a medical examiner, you know, like the natural deaths and stuff, and what I look for and stuff like that, and explain that kind of stuff, because you know that I was one of the most experienced investigators here in 2 counties in Iowa. And matter of fact, the state medical examiners, the doctors that do the autopsies and stuff, I've had some of the craziest cases that they've ever had. And they know me by name. And I still get phone calls and questions by other investigators. And I've retired from this. And they still ask me questions and consult me on things. So we could definitely spend some time on this. And I think we should, because the health of our veterans and everything is so important that, you know, the VA is not going to do everything possible to keep you alive. Unfortunately, it's just not how it is. And even today's healthcare system, the way it is, it's set up for failure. And I think with my experience, sorry, Gilly, with my experience as a paramedic and a medical examiner, I can explain things a little differently, and we can actually help maybe make somebody healthier or prevent something like what you had, Delp, which is a fucking widowmaker, you know.
Yep.
That's huge.
And like blood pressure, right? Not the normal blood pressure, what they say, right, is not everybody's normal blood pressure.
Mine has always been 140s over 70s ever since I was probably in 5th grade. And then they always kept trying to put me on meds, and it just made me feel so miserable with that blood pressure medication that finally I just said, you know what, I'm going to stop, and I'm just going to stay away from salt and different things. And it would do the same as what the medication did.
Yeah. See, like when I, you know, So I take mine at home, right? My one's usually 130 over 80, right? But as soon as
When
they
you go
put
to
me in
the
the doctor's
doctor,
office,
it's
right?
higher.
As soon as they put me in the doctor's office, jumps up tremendously.
Yeah, I get nervous and
Yeah.
anxiety.
And I'm off medications all the way, for that, because I take it at home. I'm like, you're going to be better if you take it at home than versus in a doctor's office. Some people are, some people ain't, right? And
Right.
those machines, I asked them one time, this was at EMU before I started using the VA. I said, how often is that motherfucker calibrated? So when was the last time that son of a bitch was calibrated? They looked fucking 2 years. I said, that motherfucker's going to be off, guaranteed.
So, I mean, obviously we're not doctors and we can't give medical advice, but I can tell you right now, with the way I've changed my diet, just changing my diet.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've talked about it on the podcast before. I think it was before you were on here with Del. But with everything I'm doing, I've lost over 14 pounds in a month and a half, and I haven't worked out once.
Not right now.
I monitor my blood sugar, I monitor my blood pressure, and I get my cholesterol checked on a regular basis. Everything has dropped. Okay. I mean, I'm not taking any of my meds other than my beta blocker right now because that I need to make sure I've got everything else under control before I stop that.
Right.
Now, am I doing it with my doctor's blessing? Absolutely not. The reason being is doctors get paid by pharmaceutical companies. I'm not going to fucking deal with this.
And the thing with the cholesterol, sorry.
I am working on making sure that everything is good. And cholesterol is actually not a bad thing. Cholesterol gives energy to your body.
And also people that have normal cholesterol, right? They have just the same heart attacks as people with high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It doesn't make
your cholesterol used to be 300 for good. Right now it's no good.
Right.
So
and if you watch Gary Brecka, he'll tell you that. He'll tell you the whole bullshit on cholesterol and taking a statin, a torvastatin, and
it's all about money.
Exactly. It's not worth it because you can actually change your diet to where your body uses cholesterol as energy. Right. And that's what I've been doing. And I've lost, like I said, 14 pounds, a little over 14 pounds without doing anything other than eating. And I'm not eating shit. I'm not eating dirty. I've replaced white sugar with agave juice or honey. Agave and honey are two natural, amazing sweeteners that actually help your body.
Also, maple sugar too does the same thing too.
Yep. Hydrogen water, drinking hydrogen water helps. Taking a magnesium breakthrough like this one I'm taking. This is fairly new for me to start taking. It's I don't know if I can get it in there. Hang on. I'm going to get rid of my background for a second. Give me 1 second here.
In your face.
This is a magnesium breakthrough. It has 8 different types of magnesium. It helps with sleep and everything else along with gut health. I eat nothing but clean food, so I make my own kimchi. Super easy. You get a jar, you put cabbage and stuff in it, you let it sit for a fucking 4 or 5 days, you eat it. It's good.
That sounds like chow chow.
And it's healthy. It's good for your gut. All your shit starts in your gut. Anxiety, depression, any illnesses, it all starts in your gut. So once you fix that, you're golden. So we can spend a whole fucking episode on this and talk about signs and symptoms of different major illnesses and how to combat it. I drink beer. I eat. Well, I'm losing weight though.
That will be multiple episodes. Multiple episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Because that episode alone would be 8 hours at least.
Or more.
Yeah.
I would try to make it a little bit less, but
no. Because everybody has different experiences on this shit, right? Because everybody's body's different. We all know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's like when I eat. See, I can tell when I retain water, right? Or if I'm eating too much processed shit, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
I can tell in my fucking feet and ankles, right? Because all that's high sodium shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell. That's like when I make pasta, if I eat pasta, I got to make homemade pasta.
This right here. You take this in the morning. one pinch in water, 6 to 8 ounces. It's the cleanest salt you can ever buy. They check it for microplastics and everything. This one bag will last you a year. When you wake up, you take a pinch of this, you put it in water, you mix it up, and you drink it. It'll help rehydrate your body, and it helps with sodium. Your
Well,
body needs sodium.
Well, you can also too. You don't have to drink it if you don't want to, as long as you cook with it in your food, and not add it after you cook your food. If it's cooked into it, that helps you too.
No, put it on afterwards too. You can eat it raw. You'll get the night. This has 91 minerals in it.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying it's better, like to eat it. I like cooking with it. For cooking my food right, because you don't want to add food. To me, you got to add salt afterwards. Your shit's bland as hell.
Hey, Thumper, when you were a medical examiner, did you ever come upon a guy that they said, like, or a girl that said they died of natural causes and it was a mineral deficiency?
So a lot of those are going to be when I do investigations, right? I get a background on them. I mean, I've had some crazy ones, especially in the years following COVID, right? So there's a lot of mineral deficiencies. There's a lot of abnormal labs, is what they call them, basically. People that have had labs drawn and they died within a couple days of having their labs drawn, and then all of a sudden I pull their medical records and they have abnormal labs. They've got deficiencies and stuff like that. So in America here, we don't test for parasites, and when we do autopsies, we don't really look for parasites. So we're not examining every part of the intestine and the colon and all that. So a lot of honestly, I think personally, and I don't have scientific data to back this up, but I think a lot of mineral deficiencies are due to parasites because they actually block the track of absorption of minerals in your intestine and colon.
And then
but do they always determine, like, when a person dies of natural causes is from a mineral deficiency?
No. So a heart attack is a natural cause, right? A stroke is a natural cause.
But
COVID
what causes the heart
cause.
attack? Is it an absence of a certain mineral or vitamin or something like that?
It depends. So when it's a natural death like that, the only time you're going to get an autopsy in 90% of the states is if the family requests one. And most of the time, families don't because they are financially responsible for that autopsy. If it is an unnatural death, so if I show up and it's anything other than
homicide,
a natural death, if it's anything other than a natural death, so suicide, car accident, a trip and fall, anything considered an accident, homicide, suicide, those are autopsied, okay? And they're really looking for the main cause of death. So if you have a mineral deficiency, you trip and fall, hit your head and die due to a brain bleed, they're not going to drill down to, oh, this person was weak because they didn't have minerals, they fell, type thing. It's not going to go that far. It's going to go, yeah, they tripped, fell, hit their head, they died of a brain bleed.
I remember a girl like that died in Bahrain, dude. She was it's like right when I got there, right before I got there in 2011. She was in one of her flats, dude. She was a first class. She went to reach up for something in one of the higher cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow she slipped, she fell, she hit her head on the corner.
Yep.
And died.
Yeah, that would be considered an accidental death. And that would be an autopsy to find out what the cause and manner of death was. So obviously it was blunt force trauma to the head. And then what part of the head and what caused the death was
her temple.
Right. It was probably a midline shift due to pressure in the brain, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of medical jargon to it, but it was considered an accidental death. So, I mean, I've had a lot of deaths I've had thousands of deaths. I mean, I've presided over there was 4 months that I was the only investigator in my county. And on average, it was 2 to 3 deaths that needed to be investigated a day. And I did that for 4 months straight, without any help. So I was the only investigator for a county that has the third largest city in the entire state of Iowa. So I was busy. So when they do the autopsies, they don't really make note as far as mineral deficiencies and stuff like that. But it is known that most adults in the United States are deficient in D3 for sure. That's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, a lot of that D3 can be blocked by a parasite. There is a specific.
You know what's crazy about what you're saying, bro? Is I was listening to someone that was teaching about the Bible, right? And this was a couple years ago, probably 2017, 2018. And I forget what channel it was. I think it was on YouTube.
No.
And they were saying that when people die of natural causes, it's from a mineral deficiency, but they just don't say a mineral deficiency like what you're saying. They didn't say the parasite thing, but they also talked about eating clean and like not eating certain foods or certain animals because those animals are dirty animals per biblical prescription in Leviticus and Genesis and all that. But it's interesting because what they're telling you is like, yeah, if you don't get all these certain vitamins like sodium and salt and all this other stuff, you're going to fucking die.
But there's a fine line on the sodium.
Crazy.
There's a fine line on that, though. So
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is like, what's crazy is like they will say it's a mineral deficiency, but people will say it's something else because I guess that's just the jargon or something like that.
The way I see it, everybody dies of a heart attack. Everybody. It doesn't matter what. When you die, it's because your heart stops. That's why. Yeah. It doesn't matter what led up to it or anything like that. Everybody dies of cardiac arrest. Your heart stops. You're clinically dead. You're declared dead. Now, the sodium. Getting back to that, your body has a sodium-potassium pump. Okay. What people don't realize is your body requires potassium and sodium in order to create energy in your cells.
The electrical charge needed to be carried.
A lot of people don't realize, and they forget chemistry and biology and how there's a sodium-potassium pump, and there has to be an exchange, and you have to have certain levels in order for that power the ATP to be created in your muscles. So everything that you read, sodium is bad for you. Sodium can kill you. Sodium will kill you. You'll die of sodium intake.
But that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
You gotta have it,
yeah. And just like carbs, doing the Atkinson's diet and all that, Atkins diet and all that, that's bullshit. Your brain requires carbs. You have to have carbs.
You gotta have a moderation. Moderation of it.
The thing is you got to eat clean carbs. You have to eat clean sodium. You have to eat clean food, and your body will handle everything else.
See,
my cholesterol has plummeted because I've been eating clean.
See, mine's been perfect ever since I've been on the alpha-gal diet, right? And my doctor's like, "How you do this without eating meds?" I was like, "Look what the fuck I'm eating."
Yeah, you're eating lean food.
Now I do have my fucking, my vices, right? When it comes to food, right? Junk food, right? Everybody does.
But that stuff is not gonna affect you in the alpha-gal sense, right?
No, what I eat junk food wise does not. Because I researched that shit.
But what I think's going on though, Jay, is like you've eaten this stuff for years and it's made you leaner, even though you can't work out. Or
I'm not really leaner. I'm fucking, I'm still wearing size 34 jeans, but still, I mean, I've lost a lot of muscle though.
Size 34 jeans is pretty good, dude.
Hey, that's
damn good.
That's really good, bro. It's really, really good that you're in size 34 because some of the people our age are in size 44, 45, 46.
I know, like my brother, he's like,
I'm in 36.
I'm in a 36, but it's because my wife says my ass disappeared.
Well, and Delp, you're also fucking a foot taller than me damn near too. I mean, come on now.
I think it's more
what
than
are you,
foot.
fucking Gumby?
But
Let's
I
like,
think, we can go
yeah.
over. I can gather a bunch of information and throw it out there. The thing is, dope, you fucking survived something that not many people can say they can
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
did. And that's fucking huge.
Yeah.
That is like something like that's like winning the lottery.
And it seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're thriving. It seems like you're thriving, which is a great
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
And
Yeah.
and keep up what you're doing, because obviously it's working.
Yeah. I
You're
changed my diet a lot, and I don't pick a certain thing like the Atkins diet or this or that. I'm kind of letting my body make those decisions of what it needs. And I've been paying attention to what my body has said it wants. And
Yeah.
you'll have cravings of certain things, just like pregnant women. And I just kind of listen to those cravings. And believe it or not, some of it have been like certain fruits or,
Yeah.
like I never liked cottage cheese. Well, my body has told me, hey, eat some cottage cheese. So I've done that, and just whatever my body's kind of telling me. Because after my back surgery, my first back surgery, no, it was my second one, I had this weird thing happen. And, my life, I'm just like everybody else. I like a pickle here and there, maybe on my burger or whatever. After my surgery, when I came home, I only wanted to eat pickles. And the hotter they were, the better they were. And I could sit down there and eat the whole jar.
Or deep fried.
Or deep fry, whatever.
Or do you just like phallic symbols?
But it was kind of weird because I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? What did they screw up that all of a sudden I'm just wanting to eat pickles, just not even eat anything else? And I started looking it up, and it said that you have a deficiency in your sodium. So your body needed the salt that was in those pickles after your surgery.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, So I've just kind of been more aware of trying to eat different things that my body, says, hey, you kind of want or kind of need, and not eat a lot of junk food or, stuff like that. And I've actually lost quite a bit. Like today I weighed and it was 240, I think 243. So
That's good.
I had my doctor's appointment and I'm feeling pretty good.
And the thing about
That's great. That's great, dude.
and the thing about pickles is, especially pickle juice, goes for athletes or anybody wholesale, right? In summertime. Pickle juice is better for you to fucking get rid of the cramps.
Yes, it works kind of the same as getting your I think it actually has magnesium in it from this type of sodium that they use, but
it works better than fucking Gatorade.
Like the electrolytes, the Gatorade, the electrolytes, the stuff like that.
And Gatorade,
it's got
actually,
electrolytes and shit.
They did a study on Gatorade because of all the soldiers over in Afghanistan. When I was over there, everybody was getting fucking kidney stones, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then they looked, and it was all the fucking sugar in the Gatorade. So they did away with it because it's bad for you. Like, don't drink fucking Gatorade.
And nobody reads on the Gatorade bottle. It always used to say that when you drank it, you had to drink the same amount of water that you drank of Gatorade. It didn't rehydrate you enough. It gave you the electrolytes with hydration, but you're supposed to drink, like if you drink a 30-ounce Gatorade or whatever, 12-ounce Gatorade, you're supposed to drink 12 ounces of water with it.
Well, when Gatorade first came out, right, when it had no sugar at it, it was a lot better for you back then. Tastes like shit, but you can thank Michael Jordan because he's like, if I'm going to endorse this, it needs to be sweeter. That's when they start putting the sugar in it.
I know that.
That's why it's better to drink the hydrogen water because it feeds your body and you absorb it better and hydrate way faster. And by the way, I just want you guys to know, mine does that too with the camera. Apparently, it actually moves.
You probably just have to turn it on, or
I didn't realize it.
And that's why I keep pickle juice at the house, right?
Right.
or liquid IV. Liquid IV, people, fucking works too.
And my wife does the liquid
Yep.
IV. But I don't need that. After my surgery, after a few months, my body just stopped and it didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
was like kind of the weirdest feeling in the world that I wanted to eat friggin' pickles.
I think you should look into hydrogen water. It is a huge benefit to the body.
That
Not
was a
only does
good
it
burp,
feed the,
whoever that was.
That was
feed the
me.
bacteria in your gut, but it also
was
gives
me.
you energy and you hydrate
It's
faster,
not enough for me to
and
hear.
it's so much better for your body. So there is, you got to be careful with ones you buy though, as far as hydrogen bottles. You got to
Right.
spend the money and get a good one.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
So
it's not going to give you.
my problem
On that, Brett, on that, Thumper, did you get a new hydrogen bottle from the one you've been using when you first started talking to us about it?
Not yet. I haven't been
You
able
can't
to order
afford
it
it.
because of everything that happened with the
He
divorce.
can't afford it
Like,
right now.
I know. I'm like this close to pulling the trigger on it. So I think next month I'm going to order it, because the one I have now, actually, I've been running it multiple cycles to build up the pressure, because you have to have, so it has to be able to achieve an X amount of pressure in order to like infuse the hydrogen into the water. And so I've been running it multiple cycles, and I think that's why it's working, because I'm not just hitting the button and drinking it once. I'm actually hitting the button multiple times and building the pressure up and infusing that hydrogen. And so I found a couple tricks with my bottle that I can do to get better amounts of hydrogen. So I'm getting higher amounts that way, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, I used to take naps all the time, and I haven't touched the fucking bed as far as a nap goes since I started. Like, I can't take a fucking nap because I have so much fucking energy.
You used to take naps all the time. Around what time?
It depends. So like when
After
I'm
lunch?
like now, huh?
After lunch?
after lunch.
So that's
No.
the
The
thing,
reason
is,
I'm
like,
asking this is because my wife gets tired around 2 to 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, was between 2 and 3 o'clock, I get fucking run down. So now that I'm taking hydrogen, I'm like up and pacing because I have so much fucking energy. It's crazy.
And
And
this
I
is
know,
since you started doing the hydrogen water?
well, that and the methylated multivitamin. So if you take a methylated multivitamin, an amino acid, and hydrogen water, I can guarantee you're going to have so much fucking energy. It's ridiculous. So
There's something else that I noticed yesterday.
Text me the names of that stuff, because I'm going to look into it, because I'm going to try and get me and Heidi on that.
yeah,
Yeah,
these
you're
are
going to have to text me it though, bro.
I
So
will.
remember. That way I can see if this helps her and I, because I want to make sure my wife's good to go too.
Dude, it's crazy how fucking much energy I have. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard for me to go to sleep at night because I've taken my aminos in the morning. So I take my methylated multivitamin and my amino acids in the morning.
Mhm.
I'll eat 2 eggs because of the protein. I want the protein. So I eat 2 eggs and then my amino acids. My amino acids is 9 amino acids in it, which makes it a complete protein. So I drink that. I take my methylated multivitamin, eat my 2 eggs, and I'm good to go for the whole day. Like, and I drink my hydrogen water throughout the day. And I can tell you right now, with even the hydrogen bottle that I have, it's through the roof energy. It's amazing. And I feel so much better. I don't have near as much pain in my body as I did, because hydrogen water helps with that. The amino acids help with that. The multivitamin helps with that.
With that in mind, did you have like joint aches, like your knees fucking killed you, your back,
Dude,
or whatever?
so I'm 100% disabled through the VA
Okay.
for PTSD, depression, anxiety, chronic neck, back, and shoulder problems, because I've been blown up so many times and thrown around in the Humvee. So I've literally hit up armored Humvees on the sides, inside. I've been thrown around. I've been upside down. I've been 6 feet in the air in a 7-ton Humvee that flipped.
So
I mean,
basically, you're Tony Stark and you didn't make a fucking arc reactor, right?
yeah. And so my regiment if I can find them. I don't take them anymore. I take them. I was given 1,000 milligrams of methocarbamol and then meloxicam for swelling. So methocarbamol is a, a muscle relaxer. I take 1,000 milligrams of that, and then
Meloxicam.
meloxicam, which is for inflammation and everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't take that anymore.
I'm well acquainted with meloxicam, bro.
I haven't taken it in fucking months because doing this, my muscles are so much better. My joints are so much better. I don't have near as much pain. I can sleep better. And that's why I got the magnesium breakthrough too to help my sleep. So I'm kind of on this regimen of natural stuff, and it blows away the medications. I've got pictures in my phone of medication that the VA had me on. I was literally taking 24 pills a night and 15 pills in the morning. That was my normal regimen of pills through the VA. Now I'm down to one, my beta blocker for my heart. And that's it.
Imagine fucking that. You're not taking
Yep.
anything that's fucking petroleum based and you're taking natural minerals and all that
Yep.
stuff. All the shit that's created in the early 20th century by the Rockefellers is not good for you.
And it's so much
Imagine
better.
if someone sees this fucking podcast, dude, they're going to be freaking out because you're talking about this crap.
I know, and I've cut out all of my actual like all the enriched and fortified flour. I've cut all that out, all that shit, because folic acid is, you can't show me anywhere in nature that folic acid happens naturally.
Well,
it doesn't happen.
That's where they pull the folic acid from the hair, right? And then they
Yep.
use it to soften the bread.
Yeah. So folic acid doesn't happen naturally in anywhere. And they add it into the flour because they say it's a natural thing that you need. It's not. And actually 40% of people can't even process it in their body.
Yeah.
I've cut it out completely. I get non-fortified, non-enriched bread and I bake with it. I make stuff with it and it's amazing. So we need to revisit this later. Rocky, I'll send you that stuff because we can spend a whole fucking couple episodes on health, and we need to, I think, help our shipmates out.
Yeah, last night through FSA, we usually order like our vitamins and whatever else we need through the FSA, which is the flexible spending account for your. You can put money into it and use it for your glasses or whatever throughout the year from the company. Yep. But we were going to order, my wife has a low iron deficiency and she has her whole life. And she's been buying multivitamins thinking that it would have the daily natural iron. So I go, you need to look and make sure. So I went and grabbed her bottle. It had 0 iron in it. So I remember a day when it used to have iron in it. So I researching, trying to find ones that had iron in it.
Start cooking with cast iron. Start cooking with cast iron. That'll get the iron up. Guaranteed.
That's what we do. We do cast iron only on a gas stove.
Fuck the multivitamins, right? Cast iron. Right there.
Well, here's the thing. There are multivitamins out there that have it in it, and you need to get a methylated multivitamin that has it in it. Methylated means that it's converted. So before your body can use the vitamins, the multivitamins, it has to convert it over to something it can use. And a lot of those multivitamins that you get off the shelf, you can't use right away. Your body, you can take it, but your body has to convert every single piece of that over for you to use it.
Right.
But the methylated multivitamins, those are already converted over for your body, so you actually absorb more of it. Because if you're taking a regular multivitamin, a lot of that multivitamin is still being sloughed off, and your excrete, like, it's coming out of your body. It's not being used.
I started reading last night why they didn't have iron in vitamins anymore. And it's because it's an oxidizer and it makes the shelf life shorter on the shelf. So they stopped putting it in there so it would last longer, have a longer shelf life on the shelf in the store. And that's why there's no iron in anything anymore.
So mine actually has iron in it. It also has fermented superfoods in it. And it has antioxidants added into it as well.
That's
So
cool.
this supplement is a superfood and it's methylated. Everything is methylated. So your body can use it way faster.
Hold it
I
up
don't
for the
know.
camera again, and then I'll go on later and fast forward to it, and we'll order that. Okay.
This is the men's one, and I got the 50 up because it has prostate support as well.
Okay.
Even though I'm 44, I want the prostate health too. So
I'm
that
49.
right there.
I'm looking forward to that too.
They have a female version too, and it has iron added into it for women over 50. So
Because a lot of women have iron deficiencies.
yeah, and we only use the cast irons and stuff like that. So nobody in my family is iron deficient. My kids, nobody.
Yeah,
Because
even
we
with the
only
cast
use
iron, she still is because she doesn't eat a lot of the stuff that we cook in the cast iron. So
She needs to. She needs to.
yeah,
though.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. That's the healthiest way, and you need to use beef tallow to it. You know,
Or do-
that's the healthiest way to eat, and that cast iron will leach iron into your food, and then you eat it, and then it actually helps. That's what you
or
need.
if you don't like beef tallow, duck fat.
Yeah, but
Oh.
the cast iron you definitely want to use because you're getting that iron in your diet. It makes a huge difference.
you don't want to use the non-stick stuff because
No,
that's horrible. That
no.
Teflon.
Nope, I don't have any of that in my house. I've
No.
only used cast iron for the last 7 years.
I throw all that stuff away.
Yep.
So I got cast iron too that I still use, but I also use Hexclad now.
Hexclad they said is pretty good. I haven't used it, but
It's just like cast iron. It really is. You know, non-stick wise, it fucking is.
see, I just like my cast irons because when I go
Well, I like
camping,
cast iron too, though, but the thing with Hexclad is all you gotta do is season that bitch once. That's it.
well,
And it
same with
doesn't
my,
have all that Teflon on it. It doesn't have no Teflon, no nothing, that harmful shit. I mean, it
Yeah.
works. It's pricey, but it fucking works too.
I mean, if you look here, hang on, I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see my wall of cast irons. Hang on. None. Flip that up. Damn it. There we go. See my wall of cast irons?
Yeah.
See, I'm in the middle of a remodel, so I have all my cast irons hanging there, and then I got more on my stove. But I've got a wok, I've got Dutch ovens, I've got different things for like making bread, and different things. But that's all I use. I got a couple enameled ones, but not many. But yeah, those are the best to use. I mean, so much better for you.
Hey, Chris, send us your fucking your phone number. We can add you to the group chat too if you want.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, because what I'll do is
So that way you ain't got to fast forward through the video to get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Hodges can send a fucking one text message. That'd be done.
yeah, I can send stuff for the hydrogen water bottle. I will warn you, the hydrogen water bottle that I want, I'm going to send you guys. It's expensive. Okay, there's two.
How expensive is it?
$250.
Well, there's
shit.
hold on. There's two of them. One is 250. One is 300. But
Yep.
they have the highest parts per million hydrogen that you can get on the market, and they're smart. So it goes to your phone and your watch and tracks how much hydrogen you've actually consumed. So you can set a goal. It works with Apple and Android. It's a smart bottle, so it's actually touch screen on the bottle. It's pretty freaking cool. So
You get that, Chris?
Yep, I
I'm
got
gonna
it.
send it.
That's
to
mine.
you.
That's my number.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I was like, I'm gonna call him real quick.
Yep, it worked.
All right, God damn it.
So
Let me add you
I'll
to
put that in the group
text
chat
chain.
for everybody, and I'll put some vitamins and stuff that you guys can look at. I'll try to see if they're local to you guys, because I get mine from the vitamin shop. It's a little different. I don't know if it's local or if it's a branch or what. I stay away from GNC when it comes to that, but I get my amino acids from GMC. So, and they're raw. They're raw amino acids. They're
So
like the best you can get.
I have a problem with drinking water. I make
Okay.
25 million gallons of water a day when I'm at work. I don't want to be around it, and I don't want to drink it.
So the hydrogen water, you need to drink about 3 a day, minimum. They're not big. They're it's 12 ounces of water each time.
I substitute water with coffee or tea.
So you can make tea with it, but the thing is once you start mixing stuff in it, you start releasing the hydrogen.
Right.
So you need to drink like a minimum of 3 12-ounce bottles a day, minimum. But try to see if you can do 3 so that way you're getting the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Because it makes a huge difference in your muscles. You'll notice that your muscles don't get tired when you're walking or exercising. Your recovery is faster. It's just that much better. It's huge.
I have something that I think we should have a discussion on one day that we could do some research on.
What is it?
So, what do you call it? The electrical fields from motors and stuff. You know, the magnetic electrical fields that motors produce, and in like
electromagnetism.
Yes, so like our jobs, like certain people have jobs where they're around these motors all the time, you know.
And it causes paranoia and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know about that, but like figuring out what problems can be, how can it affect you and stuff like that, because almost all my life, including on the ships, and you know, I always run pumps. I mean, we have some that are 1,000 horsepower pumps, and they pump like 13,800 gallons a minute. And like, I'll take some little videos too and show you some of the pumps that we have from like the 40s that we still use. The motors themselves are like 14 foot tall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, most definitely do that.
And I would like to learn a little bit how the magnetic fields from all these motors affect your body. You know, all these electric motors and electric fields.
Because, see, when I had to leave the power plant, right, in 2017, there was another guy, so we had a sister plant, you know, coal power plant down in Badger, Missouri, right on the Mississippi River.
Right.
Well, me and him had the same symptoms. We had to leave work. We never returned to work because of the vertigo. So they was doing all these studies, you know, across the whole company.
Right.
Yeah, stuff. And
you know what's crazy? Real quick, I think I tried to touch base on this before, and I think something happened. But what's crazy is people get tired in cars when they, you know, when you go on a long trip, people fall asleep fast. The reason being is the high pitch frequencies from the engine actually destroy your cells, and so your body uses energy to rebuild those cells. So therefore you get tired because your body's using energy. Right. So when you're around high pitch frequencies on a regular basis, it destroys your cells in your body, and your body uses energy to create new cells to replace what's damaged. And then you get tired and you're worn down. And that's where like the hydrogen water and all that comes into play, because it helps your body with repair and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely, that's why people don't sleep good. Gary Brecka and his wife, they sleep inside a literally a Faraday cage. Their bedroom in their bed has a Faraday cage around it. They can't use their cell phones in it. They have no Wi-Fi. It's literally, it gets all of the electrical fields out of their bed. And they said they sleep so good because of it.
But also that high pitched shit, right? You know, that we was always, you know, accustomed to, right? It's fucking damage your fucking nerves and your ears too. Yep. And the hairs. I don't care what fucking hair protection you're fucking wearing. If it's not molded to your ear canal, you know, mold it exactly. Don't use it. Plain simple. That will still cause hearing loss, you know, damage to the hairs.
Yeah, right, damage to the cilia.
Yep. Oh yeah, I got it up now because I'll share it.
On this note, guys, do we need
here's the pumps that he works on right there.
Well, there's one. So those are 1,000 horsepower. So if you stood beside that motor over there, it's about 5.5 foot tall.
Yep.
Jesus.
Base.
Dude, you should see the motors on the FD fans, forced draft fans on the coal power plant on fucking Unit 3. Them motherfuckers are 15 foot tall.
See, we have lots of new motors and stuff too, but it's the older ones that are kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
And
All right, Rocky. I know we got to end it. So
I
take
know,
us off.
I don't want to end it, but we've been going for over 3 hours, boys, and it's been a
Okay.
great fucking talk and a great conversation, and I
Let's-
appreciate everyone that tuned in and watched for a while.
Hey, before we go, right, Hodges, here's a little something for you, buddy.
Oh Jesus! Fuck you, piece of shit.
Okay, hey, real quick. It is the Chief Petty Officer birthday, so honor to all the chiefs, especially Lil Tate. Matt, we sure here, bro. We love you. And all the other chiefs, and anyone that should have made chief that didn't. Because I know a lot of motherfuckers that should have made chief that didn't because of some stupid fucking circumstance or reason. But anyways, on that note, please like and subscribe to the Pfeiffer's DD991 podcast. And I'm going to ding us out. Pfeiffer's departing. And that's it.